Oh, baby. It's game day. It's time to get after it. So hit like and subscribe and, do the thing that you usually do when you're watching Call What You Want on Golazo America. We're having a live watch along, everybody. I'm Jimmy Conrad, also known as Concacaf, alongside Chuck Wagon and Big Tones. And we have a big game for the U.S. men's national team as they look to rebound from a 2-1 loss to Turkey to try to get a result against a very good Switzerland team. Some would say that Switzerland are a little bit better than Turkey. We have made 9 changes to our starting 11. And before I throw it over to Big Tones and or Chuck Wagon, I'm going to name the lineup first. We got Matt Turner in goal. Nathan Harriel right back. Walker Zimmerman partnering with Mark McKenzie as the center backs. We got Max Arfson getting another nod at left back. He's one of the 2 holdovers. Johnny Cardoso is the other one. He's in the middle of midfield with Sebastian Berhalter right in front of them. Paxton Aronson, potentially Brendan Aronson. We don't know. One of the Aronsons is going to be there. Brendan Aronson on one side, Quinn Sullivan on the other, and Brian White up top. 9 changes to that starting 11. Chuck, I'm coming to you. How are you feeling about it?
It's a great opportunity. I feel that right now, if we're looking at this squad, it's a lot of unproven guys who I think Poch is saying, I'm giving you the chance to earn your spot, to earn another chance, to earn another opportunity, because you're seeing Johnny Cardoso here, and we all know he did not have a good match.
He needs a nice rebound here.
One that he would like to forget. So I love that Poch said, well, I'm going to give you another opportunity because you played a great season. Here, earn it. Berhalter, he's been killing it with Vancouver. Here's your opportunity alongside Cardoso. And then you got the brothers, Paxton and Brendan, both on the pitch together. Quinn Sullivan, he obviously didn't look ready against Turkey either. He gets another run. So, for me, I think this is more about the chance or the potential or the hope that one or few or many can take this opportunity to earn more minutes.
All right, and Big Tones, I think you were maybe on mute earlier. Just want to make sure you haven't hit the early mute button. But Matt Turner in goal, not a big surprise, but maybe kind of a surprise. As our resident goalkeeper, your thoughts on Matt Turner getting the nod?
Yeah, look, I think we talked about it the other day, right? I thought Matt Turner would get an opportunity. Obviously, Matt Freese got his chance, and I thought it was the right time to make a switch. And I don't know that they're discarding Matt Turner at all, but I think Pochettino needed to see somebody else in that first game. And again, we won't go back to the Nations League where we thought we'd see somebody else in that game, and we didn't. So I think it's the right move. We called this one. I don't know that we called 9 changes, but we did call that there would be a couple. The Quinn Sullivan one, I'm interested. I know Charlie said he wasn't good. I still think there's something in him. And I want to see what comes out of him. I like his body type. He gives a different profile out wide. He's a different type of winger. We'll see what it turns out to be tonight. Harriel goes over to the right. He came in as a sub on the left-hand side. Interesting lineup. I like the fact that the 2 Aronson brothers are on the field. And we've been clamoring for like one or the other. Now we get them both in one night.
All right, just a quick note on Switzerland. They make 5 changes after their 4-2 win against Mexico. Breel Mbolo gets a start again. He torched, that's probably the best word to use, that Mexican defense, and found himself in some good positions. Dan Ndoye, he also scored against Mexico. He gets the start. Ibashir comes in. Jashari comes in. Manzambi comes in. They're playing a 4-1-4-1. This is their attacking 4. Granit Xhaka sitting in between the lines as the holding 6. Rodriguez, Akanji, both get the start once again. Elvedi comes in. Schmidt comes in at the right back position, and Kobel is in goal once again. So 5 changes for Switzerland, 9 for us. Before we get on the Golazo Network, which is going to be very cool, be running concurrently on the YouTubes and on the Golazo Network, let's get some predictions, fellas. How do you think this one's going to go, Chuck, now that you see the starting 11 for us?
3-1 Switzerland.
Wow. Oh, my. Listen, I saw a comment in the comments saying we got to be positive. We need a positive performance, and that is not a positive prediction from a U.S. perspective. 3-1. Hot. Damn. Chuck coming in hot. How about you, Tones? What are you saying after seeing that line?
Yeah, I think I said the other day I was going to stick with the same prediction, 2-1, in this case to Switzerland. I went 2-1, in the first game. This is a mixed lineup. That doesn't mean we don't have some guys that can't perform. I just think it's going to be hard to find a little cohesion in this game when you make 9 changes.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens.
We got a lot of Philadelphia Union players, right? Past, present. Wait, so Harriel, right? Is that Philadelphia Union? Mackenzie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quinn, Sullivan, Brendan Aronson, Paxton Aronson. That's a lot. And we got some Vancouver Whitecaps guys. That's you say
so
cohesion.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying that there's maybe some cohesion here. Listen, can we give it before I give my prediction? We got some Energizer bunnies out there that are going to be putting in the work. We got the Aronson brothers, and we got Berhalter who's going to get his first cap.
Can you be real? Can you be realistic? And
okay,
and
Listen, my heart says 2-2. My head says probably 2-1 Switzerland. All right, we're going to take a little short break so we can get into the Golasso Network, but don't go anywhere because we're going to watch this game together. What's up, everybody, and welcome into your favorite average to good podcast, Call It What You Want. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Charlie Davies and Tony Meola, and we are live on the Golasso Network. We're excited to watch this U.S. men's national team game against Switzerland after their 2-1 loss a few days ago against Turkey, where they had the 1-0 lead 90 seconds or 60 seconds into the game, and then let that lead slip to lose 2-1 to a good Turkey team. And obviously, we're trying out a whole bunch of new players that are getting their first opportunities. And we're getting that opportunity again. 9 changes from that lineup against Turkey into the Switzerland game. 5 changes for the Swiss from their 4-2 win against Mexico. So lots of changes, lots of rotations for these two particular nations. Now, before the break, we were on the YouTube. So if you haven't joined us on the Golasso America YouTube channel before, hit over there and hit like and subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our shows, especially our live watch-alongs. Now, Chuck, we did predictions before we went live on the Golasso Network.
Yes.
You said 3-1 Swiss. Tony said 2-1 Swiss. My heart says a draw, but my head says it's probably the Switzerland.
So what do you go?
My head. I mean,
prediction, please.
Because you're giving me my head says something, my leg says something, my toes.
my right quad is saying the U.S. is going to win 5-0. Listen. I'm gonna stick with a draw. I'm going a draw. I don't care how many changes. I just think there's going to be a team here in the U.S. that are wearing the new heartbeat kits, just like we are, except for you, Chuck. And they're going to lay it all on the line. They're going to have great energy, and they're just going to be tough to break down. It might not look pretty, but they're going to be tough to break down. I'm going draw. Right. And I hope that everybody watching the Golasso Network and on YouTube agrees with me. We need some
Tony.
Tony,
I think everything he said from the moment he's got on has been all heart, because I wore that same kit for the game where they played, and they got absolutely worked against Turkey. And they
absolutely worked. That means like they got dominated for 90 minutes. They were good for 20. They weren't, and they were solid for the back 45. No,
sure,
yes,
but in the end, they lacked quality.
Okay,
sure they had moments, but they lacked quality. And we're talking about a Turkey side that they had some good players, and I think the majority of the U.S. population probably underrated this Turkey side. But this Switzerland team, they might not have the biggest names in football, but they're always consistently good. They are a strong team. And when I look at the experience on the pitch, Granit Xhaka, literally in the middle of the pitch, all the things that he's accomplished, this Swiss team, I think, is
they're
primed.
Good.
And to what Tony's point, this U.S. team is a bunch of guys that you want to play with heart. They want to earn, but there's no chemistry. There's not a lot of experience among this group.
Charlie, keeping it real.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Swiss side right here. And they've made some changes too, but they certainly have a little bit more experience than our group here. But you know what? One thing we should expect, I would imagine, is some energy from the group, right? Like we saw in the first 20 minutes of last match, where the ball actually was moving around pretty good. And then if they do take a gut punch, do they react a little bit better? Because that was quite honestly a poor reaction after they gave up the goal. So that's things that you're going to have to sort out.
Yeah, just as a reminder for everybody, Jack McGlynn scored a great goal against Turkey to start it, and the next 15, 20 minutes was pretty good. Then Johnny Cardoso made a mistake, which led to a goal. And then after that, immediately, we just lost our composure and gave up another goal quickly. And to Tony's point, that needs to be rectified as soon as possible. No matter who's on the field, you got to be able to manage a game. If something doesn't go right, you can't point fingers. You can save that if you want to point fingers. If you're that type of player, you save that for after the game. You got to solve problems in game. You got to manage situations, and you can't feel sorry for yourself if things aren't going your way, right? That's got to turn. You got to turn it right around and bring some concentration and focus and some leadership and accountability to make sure that just stays there. And then at halftime, maybe you can make some adjustments, and then obviously, hopefully that will and make some changes. Tyler Adams came into the team, and I thought he really solidified a little bit more steadiness in midfield in that second half. Speaking of Tyler Adams, everybody, he's not starting tonight. I think he was supposed to start, but he is out. This is from Mauricio Pochettino. He says he's out for tomorrow because he suffered a small issue in his foot, but I think it's not a big issue. Hope it's not a big issue. I can't believe he said think and then hope.
Do we think or do we hope? Or...
Yeah, I don't know. And then he said, Pochettino said, I think we can manage it in a good way and rest it for a few days and then see if he can be ready for the Gold Cup. That is why he's not going to be involved tomorrow. Concerns there, Tones?
Yeah, I mean, there's always concerns, right? When you have injuries like that, and we've seen Tyler Adams kind of be in this position, different type of injury, but with things that we didn't think were so serious. Let's just wait and see here a couple days and see how this thing plays out. It sounds like that there might be an opportunity to hit the Gold Cup. That's what they're hoping. So for me, until we see anything worse than missing one game, then I would be. I'm not so concerned at the moment.
All right, we have players shaking hands, so we're getting close to kickoff. We have a special guest coming on very soon. We call him Tommy Scoops. Everybody else might know him as Tom Bogert. He's going to give us some insight on Matt Turner potentially making a move to France to play for Lyon, and then some Club World Cup news as well on the latest between the MLS Players Association and MLS over player compensation, as well as anything else Tommy Scoops wants to give us and or talk about. Nice to see you back, Chuck. There seem to be some technical difficulties. I don't know if your Wi-Fi likes that trucker hat that you're wearing, but
no, it was actually the take on the score from you is what shook up my internet.
Okay, here we go. You
said, come on, guys, we're all positive. All right, US is gonna win 5-0. Yeah.
No, I said my right quad was gonna say that. I'm going with the draw, dude. I'm going with the draw.
Yeah, that's hopeful.
It is hopeful. It is
hopeful from the heart. But
okay.
after seeing what we saw against Turkey and now this team, which is even more inexperienced, I think that'll be a tough ask.
Okay. No, I agree. I mean, ultimately, yes, I can see that Switzerland's making some changes too. So maybe those nullify each other.
Can we address this comment, Jimmy?
Yeah, we can. Go ahead.
We are talking like MW72. We are talking like Switzerland has every all-time great that has ever played the game. Well, it's one of those things where people don't necessarily understand that in national teams, it's not about where your guys play or what their name is or how big they are. They're all playing at Real Madrid. It's you look at this squad and these guys are all experienced. All right, we have
kickoff. Sorry, we got kickoff. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it's just these guys are all national team guys, consistent. They play at good clubs. Bologna, for instance, Tony, you can speak on that. We got Embolo, who is playing over our number 9, Balogun, with Monaco. So, it's just you have Akanji at Manchester City. I'm sure he knows that player. If there's ever a name on this team sheet that you could say is a great at the moment. So,
well, let's say this, Chuck, and I'll come to you because we're in the middle of this conversation. You're answering this question. What do you want to see then out of this group? What are the 3 things that you're looking to see the most? What's your priority order, as it were?
My priority order after watching the Switzerland game is
Turkey game.
Turkey game is we need to be more direct. We need to play in behind. There were times where Turkey we're marking Patrick Gajiman with one player and an outside back at that. And we not one time did we even look, let alone Patrick Gajiman didn't make that run, but did we look to play the ball into space along the channel and let him run because he was going to outrun a slower back line? We didn't do that. So
that's more of a recognition. Now, you had the benefit of being there at the stadium, so I love this insight a little more than me and Big Tones that had to watch it on TV. But so that feels like a situational recognition, right? Situational awareness from both Ajimong and then the players on the ball.
Yeah, all over the pitch. I mean, can we talk about positional recognition with Cardoso in his own box, surrounded by 3 players and trying to use the outside of his foot to break the press and hitting the ball into Arda Güler? Obviously, it's a big mistake, but it's the thought process. Mm-hmm. You're trying to break a press, dribbling across your box when 3 players are closing you down. So, again, it's the ideas, it's the thought process, it's can we be a little bit more proactive going forward? There were a lot of times where we went sideways or we played safe. And that's typical from a team that's made up of players who are not experienced international players and who are trying to impress Pochettino. They're thinking, I don't want to make the mistake. I've been on that team. I've been part of teams like that. I play on the national team where my first instinct was, I don't want to piss off Bob Bradley. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to piss off guys on my team. So I'm not going to take risks. I'm not going to do what makes me a great player, which is take players one-on-one. If I get by them, great. If I don't, guess what? I'm going to do it again.
Oh, baby. Here comes Max Artson down the line. Good cross.
We need more of that.
A little good.
Man, how did you guys get so far ahead of me already?
You know what?
We were just
how
on
life
the same
goes.
page.
Ball gets switched. Good switch to the point of attack from, it looked like Zimmerman. Good play.
What minute
there.
are you on, Jimmy? Play. Just so I know.
I'm at 3:02.
Jeez, yes. How'd I get 30 seconds behind?
Well, I'm living in the future, Big Tones. That's how I know it's going to be.
Hold on here. I told you. Hold on. Gold Cup is starting on mine. I'm 30 seconds behind you guys with no hope here.
Yeah.
All right.
It might be a Wi-Fi issue, Big Tones.
No. I'm hardwired. I'm not Chuck E. Cheese, man.
Chuck E. Cheese. I love that. All right, so good opportunity there for the U.S. It's nice to see us maintaining some possession in Switzerland's half of the field, though we did decide to play backwards there. We'll see. I agree with you, though, Chuck. Like seeing this combination play, being positive. Wow, Quinn Sullivan getting out of a tough spot there. Good switch again out to Max Arfson. He's isolated, but it looks like we're doing a little bit inside to out running.
Mm-hmm.
Mark McKenzie over to Walker.
Okay, I'm going to turn off the play-by-play. The Jimmy Conrad play-by-play.
You should mute it. Just mute it.
So,
Jones, how about you? What's your priority order?
Yeah, press. We're getting a little bit of it early here. Like I said, with the energy of these young guys, let's go press them a little bit when they're trying to build out of the back. Play at a little bit higher speed. Get balls in wide areas and be confident on the ball. Like these guys, there's not really a guy. Johnny Cardoso maybe we talked about, but there's nothing to lose here for these guys. Like, give yourself an opportunity.
Nathan Harriel there with a little bit of a panic attack.
He survived it though. But Tones, you'll see it in 2 minutes. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll catch up to you guys.
Thanks for everybody hanging out with us on the Golasso Network and of course on the YouTubes. Get those comments coming.
Yeah.
We want to hear from everybody how you're feeling. What's your priority? What's the number one thing that you want to see out of this particular group? And maybe one's tactical. Maybe the other one is an intangible. Is it work rate? Is it energy? Is it heart? All these intangibles. Is it managing adversity?
Jimmy, I don't want to hear us talking about heart.
I get that. I was giving the options for the audience.
I know, but that's the last thing I want to hear us talk about is passion and running and heart work rate and
non-negotiables
and heart. Yeah, like let's talk about getting on the ball. Can we take one?
Let me ask you a question. Building out of the back. I mean, Jimmy, you're the center back. We talked about this the other day. The two central midfielders are still square 10 yards from each other, right? Like, can we stagger them a little bit? Can we even spread out from being 10 yards a little bit? Because I feel like one defender can mark both of them, right?
No, that's a great shout.
Get around the ball. I just don't know how that's advantageous to us.
Do you think that since we're seeing it with different players and different lineups, that it's by design?
But in defense, I can understand that when you're defending,
right.
Oh, Switzerland.
Like, I get that part, but how about in when we attack? I mean, we're sitting here talking about let's be a little bit more aggressive. Let's be a little bit more adventurous, and then we're kind of sitting with two. Again, we saw this in the last game. It's clearly by design. I'm just saying, can we be a little bit more aggressive in that area?
Switzerland just broke that press with ease.
Yeah. That's one thing too that I wanted. Maybe we discussed it, and Chuck, you weren't with us, but Turkey seemed to have another gear, right? They would break the press and it would turn into something pretty dangerous. And I feel like we saw a little bit of that too with Switzerland, where they break the press and now they've created a 1v1 situation, and now we're kind of in no crap mode trying to scramble to get back into some good positioning. And not to say we don't do that sometimes, but I don't know. It gets back to hoping versus knowing. You know, we hope that this works out as opposed to we know this is going to work out. And that's an evolution of a team. So that's my 2 cents on that.
For me, one of the game plans that Pochettino should have put within this game is taking Granit Xhaka out of this game. Oh, that's a dangerous cross from Switzerland. So taking Granit Xhaka out of the equation in this match.
Yeah. Somebody got to sit on him, right?
And if he's allowed to get on the ball like he is, you could see he's the facilitator within the squad. He pulls out. This is what he did so well with Arsenal. This is what he did so well with Bayer Leverkusen. You can't allow him time and space because he will pick you apart.
Yeah, he's a good passer of the ball. And shout out to, well, throw that comment back up again, Des. I saw someone at TST. Griffin, what's up? Or Zach, what's up? Just wanted to say thanks for signing my shirt at TST. Wish I could have stayed for the jersey. Had a good run. Definitely will win next year. Vic Tone's got a little bit farther with Concacaf than I did with Quick Goal FC, but I appreciate the support. We ended up losing to the team that won it all, so I guess there's something in that. And they only got one shot on goal and scored it. I'm not bitter. Chuck, I'm bitter. Their goalkeeper scored. We let him have the space, and he buried one from like 15, 20 out.
But you both had impressive performances. I mean, that's to see you guys on the sideline and getting the most out of the guys. You had great runs.
Yeah.
Me and Jimmy probably had 2 different missions with that group. Mine was just to make sure the guys got to the field. It was good.
That's funny. Lots of stories with that particular statement, for sure. Little TST after dark.
So Tony, talk to me about this right here. Matt Turner, goal kick. He was going to play short, and then it looks like everyone's confused.
Yeah, Chuck, let me get there first. Yeah, look, this has been a storyline, right? With both Poch and with Greg Berhalter, right? They want to build in these areas. I'm a little bit more old school. For me, first 10 minutes of the game, step everybody forward. Let's put the ball in their area. Let's win a couple of knockdowns. Let's get into the rhythm of the game. And then when you start feeling it a little bit, you now can do some of those things. So I'm okay now just getting everybody up the field. You don't like what you see, you get players up the field and you pump it forward and you try and win a second ball and start from that area.
What I do appreciate early on here is we're seeing Quinn Sullivan and Max Arfson, both wide players for us, looking to get the ball and do something, not necessarily playing safe. And maybe they got the same note that you've been talking about, Chuck.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think in speaking to some of the guys when I went to see them play, Pochettino and his staff have really made it clear to these guys that you need to play like you always play. Don't change the way you play. Don't think you got to play safe. Don't think you have to not make a mistake, because that's when you make mistakes, or that's when you play out of character. He needs guys to believe in themselves, to play with the confidence, and don't mind if you make a mistake. Don't mind if things don't go according to plan, because that's football in general. You got to adapt, you got to change, you got to evolve. And I think that first game we still saw guys playing it safe, and so he's hammering it home. I'm gonna give you guys a chance again because this might be your last, right? So I think now it starts to click. It's guys, hey, I'm just gonna go out and do my thing, and we're starting to see a little bit more from guys like Quinn Sullivan. He was taking more touches. He looked very uncomfortable in the game against Turkey. He looked out of place, and that's common when you're all of a sudden making the jump to international level and under the pressure you are, given that the World Cup's out a year. So now let's start to see how they play defensively. You could see they kind of get into a flat back four, and then it's just one sitting. It looks like it's Cardoso, and that might flop between Cardoso and Berhalter, but those two are just trying to sit in front of the back four, and they're trying to condense the field. But this is where Switzerland can hurt you with their movement.
Come on. It's way too easy. I was about to say we had numbers over there, Chuck. While you were talking, I was watching that they had a big kind of wide shot, and I was like, okay, cool. They're leaving the other players on the other side of the field, but what Switzerland are good at is still finding pockets of space, even where you have numerical advantages. And in this case, defensively, it's an unlucky deflection, but still, it's just.
But again, you can see how Granit Xhaka was moving. He plays the ball, so Granit Xhaka he lays that off there. It's a great first touch, and the pressure's not there. And this is what I talked about. I warned people. Switzerland have players who have great technique, who work hard, who understand the game well. And Dan Ndoye, we saw at Bologna, he is a quality player. You give him an opportunity like that, and
where did this ball go in here?
Boom. It looks like he curled it far post.
No, this is not far post. I mean, it's technically far post.
It kind of went in the middle, though, huh?
Yeah, it's in the middle third of the goal.
I mean, he hit it. When you see another, he hits it pretty hard. So
no, he does. Yeah, he puts a little pace on it. Yeah. But Matt doesn't explode at all, right? He just he falls, right? And I'm not blaming him. I just think there's an opportunity there to.
Well, it
to
sounds
make
like
a better play. No,
Big Tones definitely blaming Matt Turner. So this is something that we talked about before the goal scored, right? When Turkey scored their first, we were shell-shocked and we gave up that second. So a really good opportunity here for this particular group of players for the U.S. to have a response, a positive response. Now, we've drawn a foul. We've got a free kick in a dangerous area. It'd be absolutely incredible if that could hit the back of the net. We do something dangerous. But I also want to see how we're going to take a grip of the game and try to get back into this and play on the front foot. Now, while we're setting up here for this free kick, we got a special guest here for the Watch Along on the Golasso Network and the YouTube channel. It's Tommy Scoops, also known as Tom Bogert, also known as the man with the best mustache in the game. Got the denim kit on, got plenty of time for it. Oh, what a save.
Denim. He crushed us all. He went with the denim kit.
It's only because he doesn't have the heartbeat kit, and he's just trying to flex on us.
I was gonna say I didn't get sent any of the new kits. All I gotta say is Big Tones. What's up, Uncle T? You looking comfy, brother? How we doing?
Yeah, I'm just chilling in my office here. Got a nice couch. You got the lights dimmed a little bit. That's by accident, but it looks good.
It looks good.
It is. I meant to turn it on before the show started. I didn't.
Okay, so Tommy Scoops, you've watched the first 15 minutes of this game. Were you surprised by the starting 11?
I'm not surprised. I figured that there was going to be a ton of changes. I think it's really cool to see both Aronson brothers on the pitch together. The first time since, I believe, 88 was the stat that came up on the broadcast. I was under the impression it was 79, but I guess that people did some more digging through the history books. But I think that's a nice little wrinkle.
Who was 88, Tom? Who was...
It came up on the broadcast before the game started. I had a different pair of brothers that I had checked with somebody.
Remember who it was?
The Snow Brothers.
Snows?
Correct.
Oh,
and then
okay.
in 79, it was the Nanchoff brothers, name that might be dating myself by not knowing how to pronounce. But yeah, we're off to a roaring start here on my end.
So Tommy Scoops, you got a little scoop for us. We just saw Matt Turner unfortunately give up a goal. But there's some news surrounding his future. what do you got for us with regard to him, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, going to France? Where's this netting out?
Yeah, Lyon are finalizing a deal to sign Matt Turner from Nottingham Forest for a fee around $9 million US. From what I was told is Crystal Palace would have loved to have kept him as the backup, but Matt Turner wanted to go somewhere where he could get minutes. And while Lyon have a very good goalkeeper, Lucas Perry, the strong expectation is that he leaves the club over the next month or even weeks.
Oh my God.
And
before Nathan Harriel just got absolutely eaten up. He got the snake
for him.
The snake Meg. Oof.
Yeah, and Doy is having some fun with him over there.
No bueno when you get the snake Meg.
Yeah, it's a wrap. It's a sign for everybody on the team.
All one word. Hashtag.
Everybody go. Hashtag attack.
No bueno. One word. Oof.
No bueno. Okay, so the likelihood, Tom. The likelihood, Tom.
The understanding as far as Matt Turner and his camp are concerned is that Matt Turner is going to Lyon to be the starter. Again, things don't always 100% work out in football. Transfers can fall through. But again, Lyon are expecting Perry to leave and Turner to be their guy. And what I was told is, as this came together, as this was presented to Matt, this was something he and his camp jumped at pretty immediately. They said, yes, we want this. We want to move to Lyon. This is a great opportunity for the player.
All right, he would be a teammate with Tanner Tessman. And they have American owners, Leo?
They do. John Texter.
That's right.
With the soap opera side of this is that, so they're buying the player from Nottingham Forest, whose owner put in a public complaint to Crystal Palace that John Texter also owns. So while these two teams are doing business together, well, two of their teams are arguing at each other. And then, by the way, Nottingham Forest bought 3 players from Botafogo, also owned by John Texter. So there's a lot of intricacies here in the ownership group. But at the end of it, Matt Turner's going to Lyon. And I think that's really all Matt Turner and U.S. national teams really care about.
So even though he might be slated to be the number one, I mean, there obviously is going to be competition for the spot, as there should be.
No.
Yep.
There's no competition if Lucas Perry is there. So let's be clear.
Correct.
He is going right now in hopes that he's number one.
Right. Okay.
If Lucas Perry doesn't leave, Matt Turner will be the backup. Lucas Perry is one of the premier goalies across Europe.
He's excellent.
And Lyon is looking to shop him for 30 million euros, around that, 25, 30 million euros. Now, we got to remember Lyon's in a financial issue, right? They have some trouble there. So this is great business if they do get to sell Lucas Perry for 25 to 30 million, and then they acquire Matt Turner for around 6 to 8, right? It works out.
I totally agree. And yeah, I believe that there's already a bid from Roma for Lucas Perry. Newcastle are a team that really likes him, for what I've heard as well. So yeah, that is the strong expectation. And again, for this deal coming together so quickly, I think that's a sign that they feel really safe in that assumption.
Awesome. That's good scoop, Tommy Scoops.
It's crazy he's going to Roma, right? Didn't Roma have first or what's VR? Didn't they have first or second most clean sheets in Serie A this year? And
I think that was more. I would say it was more about that back line and the way they.
Well, no, it's VR. It's VR that was talked about as goalkeeper of the year in the league in the second half of the season. So
I thought he was good, but I think he still makes a lot of mistakes. And I was gonna say, Tommy, do we have any news on Yunus Musa and Napoli?
No, so yeah, that came out today. I have no reason to doubt it, but Napoli going in for Yunus Musa. For me, I guess that'd be better than kind of how things were wrapping up at AC Milan. You never know with the new manager. If he wasn't going to play, then this works out. But obviously, he's going into the title-winning team, and that's going to be tough to break into that midfield. They do have some depth in that position, so I hope that he gets to play centrally, but again, going to the Italian champions after a disappointing season, kind of to say the least, at AC Milan, that's a step up.
Now, Tommy, I got to say this. If Antonio Conte can make Scott McTominay the player of the season in Serie A, then Yunus Musa is going to a great coach who hopefully can mold him into someone that can be more productive than he has been at this particular time. I'm saying in goal contributions, okay? We obviously his talent is undeniable.
You got Yunus Musa, who's going to play in Champions League potentially with the move, and Christian's not going to play in any European football next year. So kind of weird setup.
Yeah,
lighten the workload.
That's yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk a little Club World Cup because there's a lot of smoke, especially from an MLS perspective. What's going on with this disagreement between the Sounders and MLSPA and MLS over player compensation? Because we try to sound smart, but we really need somebody smart to come on the show and tell us what's what. Big Tom.
When is that smart person joining?
I don't know. Actually,
is there somebody else coming to So on this one, it's a dispute over bonuses for the Club World Cup. The basic facts right now are, as per the MLS CBA, which was signed and ratified in 2021, before this tournament had been conceived at the level it is and the prize money that comes with it is. But there's the contract in the CBA is that the players are capped at $1 million for tournament bonuses. Every MLS team that is participating in the Club World Cup will get a minimum of $9.5 million, whether they show up and lose all 3 games. So that is the bare minimum. MLS would argue that they are allowing those 3 teams to add $750,000 from that money directly into the cap, so directly to the players is their argument. So let's call it a total of $1.75 million of 9.5. That's a small percentage. That's around 20%. The players are hoping for more because they are capped at that number. If, let's say, LAFC go out and win their group, you get bonuses for every win. You get bonuses for advancing. They are capped at what their number is. MLS, to their credit, has recognized this, and I wouldn't recommend a PR strategy of saying, nope, let's stick to this agreement that was signed before this tournament came about. They offered the players 20% of all performance-based incentives. Oh, it's 2-0 here. I'll wrap that up quickly.
Tommy.
Yeah,
I'm fuming over here. It's way too easy.
Oh, that's not good.
I hate to be the one that said,
Max Arson's 1v1 defending is poor. So wait, did that start from a free kick?
Yes.
And then
yeah, but it started. There were 2 guys open on the right hand side.
That's way too easy.
There were 2 guys open on the right hand side this entire play. All it took was one long switch.
Yeah,
it was
eventually going to happen. It all game, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you can't defend like this. Is
That's
a
shocking
long
effort.
ball. I mean, look at how wide open players are. I know you got to crowd the field, but you also got to have some width in your defending.
So part of it, I mean, this is the domino effect. Obviously, if there's no pressure on the ball, then you have to defend differently. But it was a free kick, so yeah, I'm quietly.
What is the identity here? I don't understand. Like what are we trying to do? What are the principles? It's disjointed and disappointing.
Tom,
this was going to be this. We made 9 changes, man. This is what you're going to get in
9. Tom, to what Tony said, it's 9 changes with guys who are not seasoned international players. These are all young, for the most part, young or inexperienced guys at this level who are trying to do whatever they can to get in the World Cup squad, to get in the good graces of Pochettino. What did we expect was going to happen?
I thought we would see more fire. That is shocking defending from Max Arfson. This is too slow. The rotations, the closing down. It feels like we're reacting to everything. There's no being proactive at any point.
You forget Max Arfson is not a defensive player. He plays left wing back, but he's not a defensive player.
Okay,
but he's good in a style of play, in a scenario. We're talking international football, Jimmy. This isn't MLS.
I get that.
This isn't where my team gets 80% of possession and I can run at anybody. No, this is, oh man, I gotta defend one-on-one, because right now we're seeing when you have a team that's so disjointed, so inexperienced, trying to press. Guys are all over the place. There's no cohesion.
Preach.
So you have 3, 4, 5 guys working, and look at Switzerland. It's so easy for them. They're playing right through the press like they're playing against a youth team. That's what it looks like. It's not even close.
I agree with you that one of the hardest things to do when you make so many changes is to get that coordinated pressure and coordinated movement. So if you're playing against a team that has the experience of Switzerland and has players that can break your lines and break the press pretty easily, then you have to be really thoughtful about how you move as a group. And if that press isn't working, okay, what's your plan B as a team shape? How do you still manage the game from there? We haven't done a good job of that. Now with regard to Max Arfson in particular, yeah, I mean, if you can't defend, then you're going to be playing on that left side, then you can't play on the national team anymore. I mean, that's it.
That's my surprise. Like, Isn't it more likely that John Tolkien can become a national team level left back that you play in a major tournament than Max Rolfson? Again, I'm a big fan of Max Rolfson's. I don't think his game definitely doesn't translate a left back to the international level.
No, not yet, if you're playing against Dominican Republic, no disrespect to Dominican Republic, you're playing against some of the smaller CONCACAF teams, where their main hope is, well, we got to just keep it close. We're going to defend 11 guys behind the ball. That's when Max Rolfson can shine. When you're asking him to defend on an island, one-on-one, international, after you've been chasing the game, and next thing you know, you're isolated because they switched fields, good night. I'll tell you right now, any attacking player, and you're going against Max Rolfson, you're saying, keep them coming. I will stand like this. Yeah, and it just makes it worse for him because I'm coming at you every single time, and everybody wants a piece. So, unfortunately, this is where we are right now with this U.S. men's.
By the way, I said this after the Panama match. I said it after the Canada match. Look at the difference physically. Just take the physical element between these two teams right now. I get it. This is an older Switzerland side, but man, it just goes to show that the physical part of the game is there and I don't think we have that. I even look at Walker Zimmerman, who in general we think of as a big guy. He doesn't look like a big guy against Switzerland, right? And I go back to 1990 when we played Czechoslovakia, and the difference physically between that young side in 1990 that we played on and that Czech side, it kind of reminds me of this right here.
So, guys, can look at this press. Is this a press or is this just throwing bodies forward?
Passive. Way too passive.
Depressing.
Hey, we just won the ball. Press worked. It worked. So here's the issue. So the press worked there. I mean, yes, it does feel a little bit in ones and twos.
It worked after 5 minutes.
Okay, but then we win it and go backwards. You know what I mean? Like the effectiveness of a press is when you win the ball and actually you can make the other team suffer. Right now, Switzerland is still kind of in their shell, and and we haven't really moved any of the pieces around. The only time that we've broken through is a little bit on the left side when we played a Max Rolfson's strengths, which is getting forward and combining.
Jimmy and Charlie, I need whatever internet you guys have, because me and Tony have the Jersey internet. We're about 20 seconds behind you guys.
Tom, you talk to me, Tom. You and I.
Oh man, this is tough to watch.
All right, Tom. Let's put a loop or a button on the CBA talk.
Yeah, I got a question about this, Jimmy.
Yeah,
I have a question about this.
So it was. MLS offered 20%, but along the way, the Seattle Sounders players wore those protest shirts in pregame warm-ups. And the MLSPA released a statement standing by their players, of course. Seattle Sounders owner Adrian Hanauer, sources told me, came into the locker room immediately after the game and just lit up the players. Was very angry about this. And as it was described to me per a couple sources, MLS had planned to make an offer on that Monday. And then when they were what they believed to be blindsided or whatever, getting upset by that protest, that offer was delayed until Friday.
Three?
Is this a good
No. And that's why.
What is Arson trying to win it the second time? Just keep him there, dude. Just keep him.
Mbolo is, and this is the player that takes away minutes from Balogun, or they battle for time. But Mbolo, incredible athlete, good timing, but
a good player.
Really, he really lacks the finishing touch. He's not refined when it comes to being a seasoned goal scorer. So that's where his game lacks the quality. And if you're comparing him and a Balogun is a much better finisher than him, but you could just see the problems he causes back lines with his runs. It's tough.
He's a player whose name has been floated in some of the more ambitious MLS signings. Like, let's say when Atlanta United went and signed Emmanuel Latte-Lat for, what was it, $21 million or whatever the fee ended up being. Brielle Mbolo was kind of like, ooh, is he attainable? And I'm not suggesting exactly Atlanta, but like the people working on deals, or, he's a guy who I would love to see in MLS. That would be a super signing. Yeah,
he's dangerous. Okay. Let's finish this conversation about the CBA.
There's too many details to get through. So, yeah, the owners, they were going to send an offer on Monday. They regrouped and they said, is it going to look like we're just bowing to pressure from the players? And they eventually sent their offer on Friday. MLSPA was very unhappy with it, and they said that there's been like a show of force from the MLS owners to the players because of that protest, and it's retaliatory, was their words. So MLS made a 20% offer for the bonuses, and MLSPA went from, they were asking for 35%, and they said, okay, if your offer is going to get worse, if you're going to try to bully us, we want 40%, not the 35%. So honestly, they are further away now than they were 2 weeks ago, and the Club World Cup kicks off in 4 days, guys. I don't know if this gets resolved by then or not.
So Tom, okay. I got to ask you this, because when I saw it, I'm like, I'm always for players fighting for more money. I'm on that side all the time. I didn't know the details. So I'm clear. They are currently fighting against something that they previously negotiated in the CBA.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, but like, look, like that was, I guess that's a fair point, but like that was signed in 2021. Nobody knew what this expanded Club World Cup was going to be, and especially didn't know what the money was going to be on hand.
But hold on. So let me stop there. I'm sorry to cut you. Just so I'm clear, because I don't know the details. I'm reading all your stuff, trying to figure it out. So the contract that they signed, does that have a stipulation for Club World Cup?
That's it's included in the tournaments. Like when Seattle Sounders played in it, I don't know, was it 2022?
There was a Club World Cup. It just wasn't this form, right?
Expanded.
Okay. Yeah.
Where there's more money. They're definitely, they've pumped it with more money to make it that much more appealing. Oh my God. 3-0.
What are we doing?
Thank God that you guys brought me in like 60 seconds after the first goal, because my net rating right now would be -3 in 20 minutes, and I wouldn't be proud of that.
Charlie only needs a goal from the U.S. and his prediction's right.
I don't think that's coming, Tony. I don't think it's coming.
I didn't say it was coming or not coming.
And the house is on fire. Oh, come on.
Oh no. Not like this.
This is bad. This is bad. I'll tell you right now. And I get it. It's a makeshift team, but
that's awful.
No, these are basic things.
This is bad. I'm not trying to paint this any which way. Then it is bad, Jimmy. I know you came in with the whole, oh, go USA! We're gonna win. We're the best. I know it's gonna be, bro. This is bad.
Hey, listen, we got them right where we want them. 3-3 is on the cards, baby. Let's go.
Can't set up an epic comeback without the setback.
Hey, turn that frown upside down, Charlie Davies.
Come on, 3-0 to Switzerland.
It's another mistake, man.
In 33 minutes.
So Toads, he's got to save that. He's got to save that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Why can't we? Have we not figured out the wide part of the field yet? Like, why can't we get some movement here? Both sides. We're playing in the middle of the 18-yard boxes, and balls are just being pumped into corners. Look, you leave your wing backs 1v1 defending the entire game, you're going to get burned, period. It doesn't matter who you are. At some point, you're going to get burned. We just happen to be getting burned every time they touch the ball right now.
It's shocking. It truly is. It's awful.
3-3, everybody. Keep those heads up. Let's go. 3-3. Come on. This is going to be the greatest comeback in U.S. men's national team friendly history.
But, the problem with these moments here is you go down 3-0 in a World Cup, you're done. You're
even in a friendly against Switzerland, I think you're done too.
No, but I understand. But my point is, just think about the pressure ramped up. Just think about
Tony.
Too easy.
Oh.
I agree, Tom.
But the writing was on the wall early in this game. The press, it's not organized. 2, there's not enough effort. There's not enough conviction to win the ball.
Ground right now.
Coble and go. Oh my!
Don't do it. Don't do it. Won't do it.
Oh my!
No.
It's 4.
God,
are you kidding me? Oh,
yeesh!
We picked the wrong time to have a live watch.
Turn the jersey inside out.
You know what, Tom? You're out of here because now that you're Tommy Scoops, everybody. Tom Bogert, go follow him.
I'm never going to be back. Please plug everything. I'm never going to be back.
He comes on for 15 minutes, and we've given up 4 goals. Tommy Scoops, no longer allowed on the show. We appreciate you.
Are you, Tony? Man. What the hell are we watching?
Oh my man!
Man, Zombie's he's having like a career year in one night right now. Was that McKenzie that got cut at the top of the box?
So when he cuts in, I got to see the play multiple times, but I'm just kind of curious about.
Well, we lost the ball. We lost the ball in corner midfield.
Yeah. There was a miscommunication.
Quinn Sullivan was that Berhalter, and then it's another switch of play, another 1v1, which we don't do well with.
Oh,
wow.
Over. Oh.
Yeah, this is no bueno. Now we're capitalizing it, all one word. Hashtag no bueno.
I cannot believe this is where we are. Honestly, I can't.
But no, seriously, Charlie, I'm at it. But you can't believe what's happening right here.
No, I can, given the
9
team
changes, bro. What?
No, but I can't believe that this is where we are right now. We're a year out. We get spanked by Turkey, and then we get that. And Turkey, yeah, okay, you could say we had some chance, whatever. This is an absolute drubbing. I mean,
yeah, this is an ass whooping right here.
This is like a college team playing against a national team. This is what it looks like. It looks like kids versus men. This is what it looks like. That this Switzerland team is having a glass of wine while they're playing. You're down 4-0, and this is the type of press that the U.S. has.
I don't think we know what to do at this point, to be honest, Chuck. I mean, this game's completely.
So to go back to the point in the beginning of the game where we're talking about this Switzerland side, we're saying, forget the names, forget about big names. This is a team that is well drilled. They've had a coach since 2021. This team has put in impressive results. They had a good European showing at the Euros. They have quality players that are consistent, that play. They understand how to move the ball. They're making.
They also have leaders.
Like
they have leaders out there in a way that we don't. Like we cannot get a grip of this, and then there's individual mistakes. So, oh my God, what is even happening right now?
Oh my word is right.
What? There's a lot of red dots out there, lots of red dots, and it's not getting any better.
How many subs you making in the? Who's coming off? How many subs you making at halftime?
I think that bench.
You got to take off your wing players. Your Harriel and Arson have to come out. Who's our options? We have
you got Tolkien.
Tolkien comes in for sure. I would put Freeman back in. Why not? That's your only other option.
When's the last time you've seen the U.S. play this bad? It's
been a long time.
I'm really
U.S. Colombia wasn't even this bad. I don't think.
No,
that's U.S. Colombia.
That game wasn't good either.
We are so physically outmatched in this. This is are just running by us.
Tones, we're outmatched in every single component of the game, right? Physical, mental.
Charlie, what's your son say about this? What's your son say?
Guys, what do you say? What are you saying about the game? What would you say about the game right now?
Technically,
it stinks.
What?
It stinks.
Yeah, it stinks. It stinks.
Hey,
guys, keep practicing, okay? Because we're gonna need you here pretty soon.
Keep practicing. That's why you guys.
Years.
That's why I put you through the drills so you can get out there and you can go score some goals.
Charlie Davies' kids saying what we all want to say. This stinks. It stinks.
It's gonna be front page tomorrow. Davies twins say it stinks.
Man, I yes, you could see a little bit of men versus boys coming our way, but I was hopeful that it's just the quality. I mean, it's a joke at this point. This is like a training exercise for them. I can't believe I'm saying that a year out from the World Cup for one of our national team games.
Am I allowed to get a Bailey's during this thing? Because I might need one.
I was thinking the same thing. I have a bottle of wine ready. I have a bottle of wine on the counter ready. I said, is it too early to pop this thing?
I've never had two glasses of Bailey's, Charlie, but tonight might be the night.
So a couple things. I forgot Brian White was on the field, so that's not good. A lot of our players haven't. I mean, Quinn Sullivan's kicking somebody, so at least we got a yellow there.
Yeah, we'll say this.
But I don't like that either.
I know.
That to me is like childish too. If you tell me you're getting a yellow because you actually went in for a challenge but an off the ball, like that's a childish yellow. That's a childish kick out. Like I'm frustrated. I'm having a temper tantrum, and I think this is what they want to see in a reaction. That's not the type of yellow you get. A yellow you get is like I'm going in hard for a challenge. I'm gonna try and show something. That's just late and childish to me. And it's a friendly, so don't try and injure the opposing team either. I get it. You know, that's
all right. So the number 9 who is having his way with Max Arston, his name is Johan Manzambi. He's 19 years old. He plays for Freiburg in the Bundesliga. He had only 10 appearances in all competitions last season. He had 2 goals. This is his first ever cap for Switzerland, and he just scored. Or it could be his second, actually. This is second, and he scored. He just scored. He is, yeah, that's one for the future for sure, because he has looked pretty good. And we are still scrambling at this point, praying for halftime with no more goals to concede.
I think Manzambi only has an assist and a goal, right, Jimmy?
In this game?
Yeah.
But
I'm seeing in the chat because I love all the people here. I can't believe how many people are active and chatting. I love it. Amber Nicole, Harriel is not good enough. Who is good enough? I could have said that too. He is not good enough. I mean, that's back-to-back matches where this is a level above where he is right now. And not to say he could never get here, but he is not anywhere near ready to play at this level. But
man,
a lot of these guys aren't. And I think, you know, part of me is like, okay, I see Pochettino has to throw these guys out to see who could be ready. But in essence, I think it's really hurting the momentum of this program. You know,
are you guys just went to the coaching school? It's halftime. It's 4-0, right? You're literally.
I'm not keeping guys on. I'll tell you that.
You're getting run over. But no. Think about it. Think about it as if you were the coach right now, because you have to manage this thing. This is time to manage, right? You're getting your ass kicked all over the place. You have a young group of players that are trying to make their way in a national team, playing a really experienced team. You got to tell them something. Right. Mm-hmm. This, by the way, for me, is not a time to start yelling and screaming.
No.
Right. So what do you tell them?
At least for the young guys, Tony, right? This is the level. This is the level, and you didn't bring it.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's negative.
I'm telling you right now, it's that simple. You have to. We have to play quicker. The press, it's all over the place. It's not coordinated. Maybe that's partly my fault because I played so many new guys and we're not in the rhythm. We're not in sync. But ultimately, you're not going to go in there, Jimmy, and go, guys, good job.
No, obviously I wouldn't say that. So, I understand where you're coming from. I would say something to the effect of that I would just focus on the unemotional stuff. And tactically, I would try to make adjustments tactically.
Yeah, but you got to talk to the players first. What are you saying to the players? You come in the locker room. What are you saying?
No. I agreed with you that this is a very good Switzerland team, and they're showing us what this level looks like. I wouldn't necessarily add the part about you guys aren't up to the task. I think that's pretty evident. The scores, they know they're not up to the task. Then I would just get into the details. Like tactically, we need to do this. The press isn't working, so we need to adjust and make sure we get into a mid block and just be a little bit like help them play to their strengths. That's ultimately what I would try to solve.
Well, the thing is you're going to make a lot of substitutions because you both know on this team, we've already seen who is not at the level, no matter how much time you give them. So you got to make changes. And there's also a part of you at this level. We're talking about the World Cup in a year from now.
I know.
This isn't U20. This isn't U16.
This is that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm asking the question. You got to manage right now.
Yeah. So there's a lot, like you said, Tony, that goes into this. You got to be firm. You have to be firm. You can't be soft. You got to come in and say, guys, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't even anywhere near good enough. And
But they know that.
This is and this is what we need to do better. Bop, 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 bop.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay,
It's
halftime. Everybody,
solution after.
We're going to get into our thoughts here at halftime right after this short break. So do not go anywhere. All right. What's up, everybody?
All right, I'm moving.
Big Tones is moving.
Yeah, no, a different position because that position clearly didn't work in the first half.
Getting superstitious. No, I was thinking about what you were saying a little bit more, Tones, and Chuck, I like where you're going. I would say there's still an element of, yeah, the big themes that you need to address can't be in the moment. I feel like that's going to have to be after the game. Right now, you just have to correct what you can see, and maybe that's with some changes, of course. But it's also like, okay, listen, they won the first half. It's our turn to win the second half, and this is the 3 or 4 things. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. 2 or 3 things that we need to see to rectify that. I obviously threw you guys out there. Lots of changes. That's on me. I think Pochettino's got to take some accountability as a coach. I think that's going to help. Like all of us being in this together, and not him going, "You guys suck. I don't know what's wrong with you." So there's got to be an element of that needs to be taken into consideration. But the more he can take on some of the accountability, I mean, you got to model the behavior you want to see. And then we need players that are going to step up and take on that responsibility and accountability as well. But honestly, in some ways, Chuck, I feel like you got to forget that first half. I mean, you can take what you can from it, but then it's like, how do we compete and win the second half?
Yeah. Okay.
You got 45 seconds because we got to go to another break.
Yeah. Part of me understands where you're going with this in terms of you can't be hard-headed. You can't come in and be,
you
disrupted. Yeah, but what is that going to do? It's not going to really help the group. But I like what you said, accountability. That's on me for putting this team out there. It is on me. What would you do, Tony?
Yeah, but you can't see. So how I would go with this? Clearly wasn't good enough. This is on me. We got to change something tactically right now. And that's we pressed. It doesn't work. It's on me. Let's sit back.
Tones, we got to go to a quick break. We'll be right back, everybody. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back into
Tony's so mad he got out. Tony said, "I'm done." He went to go get his Baileys. I don't know.
I can still hear him. We just can't see him anymore, which is
he's pouring his Baileys.
Just doesn't want to pour it on camera. Welcome back into Call It What You Want. We are somewhat in shock of the scoreline here. 4-0 for Switzerland over the U.S. men's national team. One of the poorest performances that we've seen from the red, white, and blue in quite some time. Maybe the last time was that 5-1 loss to Colombia before the Copa America, where there was only one team on the field and that team won. We're seeing very similar elements of that. Obviously different players, but just that disappointment that comes with it. We're trying to solve what we should do here for moving forward. And Big Tones, when you get back with us, we definitely want to dive into more of your thoughts. Let's get Big Tones comfortable first.
Yeah, sorry, boys. I think I would go with, hey, man, this is on me. We're going to change. We're not going to press. We're going to sit back in a lower block and keep it as compact as possible. Because if you go in smashing chalkboards and all that stuff right now, you're going to crush some of these guys right now.
Yeah.
Whatever his way of managing the situation is, you got to do it. And you got to do it right now. Now's the time for me.
Yeah, I feel you with the you can't go in and smash anything, but I would be upset on a number of issues. Not only the quality of these players and their performance for the first half, but the level of intensity, because it's simple to see defensively when we press. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not organized, it's not in sync, but the effort was to close down, to make it rough, to make them feel you. When you're trying to build out of the back, I don't care what goalkeeper you are. You put pressure on them and you force them on their weaker foot. Kobel's not going to feel comfortable if he's always put on his left foot. So just having smarter guys knowing, hey, this is the way we're going to press. We're always going to make them go down to the left back because you know what? The keeper's not great playing with his left foot. Maybe he's going to give us a couple of chances, going to give us a couple of bad balls. But it was so disorganized, and the level to close down the space and anticipate was so poor that Switzerland could play out of it. And once they got into the attacking half, they were able to find those mismatches. So I find it hard to just say, guys, it's on me and clean slate. Let's just defend, because you can't forget that was a 4-0 half and you need some sort of response. So who do you think he trusts to go into the second half and stay versus saying, you know what? Okay. Arfson, I've seen what I need to see. Okay. Off.
Ariel.
Ariel is 2 games in a row where he looks like a deer caught in headlights and he's flat-footed. Gotta go. Turner, do you keep him in, Tony?
But this is a goal.
You, Tony.
This is a Gold Cup roster, though.
Yeah, Jimmy, remember I said the other day when I said all these guys that are missing, I would have preferred them all to be part of these 2 rather than the Gold Cup, right? This
exactly.
is where we needed to see the first team for a good reason, and we're getting an idea of what it is. I'm surprised by how easy it's been for Switzerland. I'm not surprised though that it's easy for them. This is men against boys, and I'm going to go back to it. Look at the physical matchups on the field. I don't think we win one in any area of the field. And that's never really been the case for U.S. teams in the past. And that part scared me in Nations League. It's scaring me even more tonight, right now.
Yes, Tony, we talked about it. It looks like kids. They literally look like kids against this Swiss team. And we saw that from the start of the way the Swiss players had time on the ball, that they were controlling the game. They were controlling the tempo, and they made the U.S. move. It wasn't that the U.S. made the Swiss players move and then, having them to go to plan B, plan C, changing the way that they play. They've just said, you know what? We're better than you. We're going to do whatever we want. And that's shown throughout the match. I talked about some of those areas where guys get 1v1. You see, whether it's Manzabi or Ndoye, they're one-on-one. They beat a guy. It makes it look easy. They get by the next guy. And so now from that point on, they've set the standard. They say, anytime I'm hungry, 1-on-1, this is going to be a joyride for me. They didn't get kicked once.
They couldn't get caught. They couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
Get kicked.
In the box, you can't touch them either. Otherwise, it'd be a penalty. But yeah, Max Arfson in particular on that second goal.
But even that one with Max you're talking about, the one that he goes around, it's why dive in right there? You got the end line to deal with. Right. You're dealing with the end line. You dove in. You made it easy on players with this quality. You're making it easy for them.
Another component that I did discuss after we gave up the first goal, but it didn't circle back on it till right now, is what we saw in the Turkey game was that we made a mistake, and then that led to a very quick mistake that led to a second goal. And it allowed Turkey to start to dictate the terms. And in the second half, we regained a little bit of that, and I thought that was a good sign. And we made some changes. Tyler Adams in particular put a kind of a field general, help you manage the game, which is one of his gifts as a player. We give up a goal in the 13th minute to Ndoye. And then the Abisher goal comes from when we have Manzambi get around Arfson and then taps it across to Abisher. So that's at the 23rd minute. So a goal in the 13th minute, 23rd minute, 33rd minute, and 36th minute. That's not managing a game, right? That's when you need guys with presence and leadership. Now I know we can look at the defense. We gave up 4 goals, but there's also an element of, we got to combine and connect some passes. we got to do something that's going to make them suffer a little bit. I don't think we've made the Swiss suffer at all, and that's one of my metrics when I'm watching the game. Yeah, it's suffer. That's what I mean. You guys were talking about drinking wine, sipping cappuccinos, smoking a cigarette, and I know that all falls under the umbrella of men versus boys, which is clearly evident. But that's an art, though, Chuck. That's an art, right? Managing a game is an art. Even if you're down 1-0, can you keep it there, get into halftime, and then you can sort your shit out at halftime? But going down 4-0 is ridiculous.
So, Tony, how many subs are you making at half if you're Pochettino?
Let me look at. I mean, I think I could take the wide players off. You're gonna crush them right now if you continue to put them in. And I'm gonna assume that that Switzerland's gonna take some of their wide players off. But Manzambi, maybe you don't take him off. He's a 19-year-old. He needs this experience, right? He needs.
Ndoye's 24 and Ardon Jashari is 22. So it's not like they're old. And then you have Granit Xhaka,
boys
32,
boys.
right? No, these are guys who are playing.
I do want to see Alex Freeman in this one out because you know what? This is going to be a real good opportunity for Alex Freeman to defend 1v1 a couple times, which we don't get to see a lot of. In Orlando, they have a lot of the ball. So I want to see him in here at the moment. Charlie, you know what? I mean, does anyone know, is Damian Downs fit? Is he good to go?
Why not throw him out there?
Like Damian Downs, and let's get a spark plug in Diego Luna, because I think Diego Luna is a guy that's on a precipice of making the 23-man roster. But this is a good opportunity for him. This is a good opportunity against the world. I'm going to call it air quotes, right, against a World Cup caliber squad. So let's see what he can do. So Charlie, I'm going to go Luna, Downs, and Freeman are guys I want to see.
All right, we are going to take a break here on the Golasso Network, but we're going to keep the conversation going on the Golasso America YouTube channel, so keep it right here. Okay, here we go, Chuck. So we had Big Tone say he'd make 3 subs. We had Luna, Downs, and Freeman. What subs do you make it at halftime? And for everybody watching on the YouTubes, what subs do you make it at halftime?
Harryell's my first sub. He's coming off.
Arfson,
second
Holken
sub. So I'm putting in to what Tony said. Freeman, who had a rough go against Turkey, but again, it was his first big international game, and I that's a player I would have liked to see get another chance in this game. Not Nathan Harriel, who came in and he was a late add-on. He hasn't brought it. I don't think he was really at this level to begin with to get called in, but he got called in, and now I think after 2 matches of being uninspiring, now you get Freeman in at half. Arfson, you get Tolkien on. Brian White, like you said, you didn't really see him in this game. I think it's a good chance to get Damian Downs and see what he can create. And then
I saw Reem warming up on the sideline.
Yeah,
I would expect to see some leadership. Not that we need to see him, but he's got that leadership, which we clearly need at the moment.
How about Haji Wright?
Both center backs weren't good. So, Cardoso wasn't good.
I didn't even know he was out there.
Yeah,
I didn't really notice him out there.
Well, they really skipped the midfield altogether. Right?
Paxton and Brennan both had 17 and 18 touches in the first half. So I don't think anyone was good. Well, that's obvious. So it's the 3 that I think you need to change is Harriel, Arfson, and Brian White at the moment. Then I think you choose between Brennan and Paxton.
And bring on Diego Luna?
Yeah.
I was trying to say a couple times, but they kept scoring. Paxton Aronson, at least when he gets the ball, he doesn't look uncomfortable on the ball. He doesn't look rushed. His passes are decent. He's looking up the field. He's facing players. Still need more out of him, but he for me, if I'm going to pick a bright spot, it was that when he gets the ball at his feet. But clearly in that position, you want the ball at your feet a little bit more. That's about it for me. That's all I can get out of this first half at the moment.
All right, welcome back in from the Golasso Network. We know you guys were just on a break. We're keeping the conversation going on the YouTube's Golasso America YouTube channel. You can watch us on either one, Golasso Network, Golasso America YouTube. We're happy that you're here with us. Despite the scoreline, we are down.
What's Pochettino saying right now?
Pochettino's talking to Melissa Ortiz.
Do we have any confirmation?
I can't hear any audio, but body language, not good. He doesn't look happy, nor should he be. And to your point, I hope he's taking some responsibility for this, because if he hasn't, then there going to have to be some questions as to whether we hired the right guy or not. That needs to be thrown into the conversation at some point, because if he can't get the most out of the player pool, then I'll be disappointed.
Guys, I muted here so I could listen to him for a second, but said Melissa asked him about what do you say to the players? He said, no, we got to move on. He did say he's going to change 5 players.
Okay. I see Luna come in. Ajimang is in. It looks like, who else? Tolkien is in. Tillman's coming in. And Tim Ream. 5 changes.
So did you say another center back is coming out? Because that would put us at 3 in the back. Do we know?
Tillman, Ream, Luna, Ajiman, and Tolkien. Those are the 5 changes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering who's coming off here.
I haven't seen who's coming off.
Was that 13 he held?
All right, so Mark McKenzie and Zimmerman are still on. So Ream came on. So Berhalter's on.
He's going to a back 3 then.
Cardoso's on.
That's what I'm thinking.
We're going to a back 3.
Harry's still on.
Yeah, so Arfson's off.
I wonder if they go to 5 in the back.
Ryan White's off. Arfson's off.
Is it good that both Aaronsons are off? Both Aaronsons are off.
Both Aaronsons and Quinn Sullivan?
Quinn Sullivan's off.
Yeah.
Am I going to catch up to you if my screen froze?
Game has just kicked off, second half. Got to see how we respond here. Algemon's up top. We have who's on the? It looks like Berhalter is playing a little bit more right-sided.
Hey,
Diego Luna's already running around like a maniac. The press is still on.
We're going 3 in the back, huh? 3 center backs?
Yeah, it looks like we're going 3 in the back.
Okay, we haven't seen this.
Well, no, no.
Tim Ream's playing left back.
And Harry's the right back.
Oh, so Arston came. Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. There we are. Oh, boy. No, but you got Tolkien. No, you got Tolkien in there, you said, right?
Yeah, Tolkien's he's on the left side. He's playing like left wing.
Like Jack McGlynn was playing right wing,
We'll be 5 in the back when we defend it.
Yeah, probably, so he can double up on. He really loves Ajiman. Damian Downs must be hurt then, huh? Otherwise, I don't know why you wouldn't roll him out in this game. All right, so it looks like Cardoso's definitely getting higher up the field. Berhalter's definitely playing right on the right side. Harrio's playing higher up the field. That means they can tilt a little bit because they have 3 center backs because Ream can slide over. And then Tolkien can be, it's a bit of a back 5. That's how I see it. Yep. But they're going to, in build-up, it looks like they're going to have Tolkien be the wing back. Harry will be the other wing back, and Berhalter can pinch inside, and Harry can get up and down. Hey, this is kind of what I've been looking for. Didn't know we were going to have to get our asses slapped 4-0 by Switzerland in a half to see a back 3, but here we are. Let's see if that pushes us into a formation change moving forward. All right. Well, those are some changes.
How do we feel about those changes?
I like a little bit of the tilt on the formation because you can drop into a back 5, and we were getting killed out in the flanks, so that gives you an extra number potentially. And then you get Tillman and Luna on, so you can get some more dynamic, maybe creators as opposed to runners.
All right, but see right there, Nathan Harrio, he made it a run inside.
Yeah, he needs to stay wide.
His position is supposed to keep the width.
I hear you.
He just ran into a space where a player is occupying. So therefore, you're helping Switzerland out in that case. I hate to say it, I'm a little perplexed by some of these changes. I don't understand them. I really don't.
Okay, let's go one by one, Chuck. Let's sit on the couch. You can look on the ceiling. Let's do some therapy. Which don't you understand?
I don't understand how Nathan Harriel is still on the pitch.
No, I get that.
Of all the players, he
what a ball that is.
I don't think he's at the level. He hasn't shown it and decision making.
But maybe Freeman's got a bit of a knock, or they don't want to risk him. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I hear you. No, we don't really have anybody else.
Yeah.
Outside of those.
Yeah, and
two.
that right side. I mean, who else could you
man.
put in on the right side?
They are just abusing this right side. Oh, baby. We got the numbers. Oh no, don't do it.
Shout out to Kate Scott. She just told me she's watching.
Kate Scott. We appreciate you, Kate Scott. Best in the business.
This is the wrong game to be tuning in for.
We're in our feelings.
Kate,
we're in our feelings right now, Kate.
This one hurts.
This one hurts.
4-0 at half.
We need some of our levity to come in and we need to laugh about something, Kate. Please help us.
Hey, yeah, let's all just bust out a bottle of wine and start talking about
about collective bargaining agreements and FIFA Club World Cup. Oh man, they are so good at breaking press, like breaking the lines of the press.
Well, it's easy when people aren't working together.
Yeah.
I mean,
man, McKenzie's going to get isolated here if Harriel's got to step up high. Yeah, Stevie says, where is Scally? Why isn't he in camp? My assumption he falls under wear and tear, need a break. I actually haven't heard anything specific about Joe Scally.
He was.
Have you heard anything about Tessman?
Coach's decision? Didn't he say that was a coach's decision? That one?
Maybe he fell into that one. Yeah, I think Tessman falls into that too. Tessman just had a new baby, so that could have been.
Yeah.
No,
you're that far ahead of me. Chuck.
I'm not saying anything else.
Oh no.
We
got to step to the ball, dude. We got to step to the ball. Step to the ball. Somebody's got to step to the ball. Step to the ball, please.
Good tactic, Jimmy.
Go! Yellow.
Come on. Easy yellow.
See, Ajiman should have been doing this the whole Turkey A game. They were playing him one-on-one, just one-on-one. Turn, go, and run those channels. Play it in. Either play to my feet, I turn and go, or play it in my channels. I'm going to check. He's going to follow me, and I'm going to spin. And that would have allowed the U.S. to get into the attacking third so many times in that match. And here we have, one glimpse of it, but that's something he offers that Brian White does not offer. Brian White cannot do that. So
that physical presence that you were talking about, Tones, right? Ajiman has.
Yeah, I told you he wasn't clean on the day, but like the defenders at least know that the center backs know they're in a game with him because you got to battle him all the time. We said he's got to clean his stuff up. I mean, it's just not international level, but at a minimum, he gives you a different look. But again, we're talking about thinking about playing in a World Cup.
Yes, Luna. That's what I'm talking about in terms of the press, right? Who cares if they're foul? If you got a yellow card here, Jimmy, that's when you say this is the yellow. This is the yellow. Right. He's coming in hard. That's a clean. That for me. That's a good tackle.
That's a good tackle.
He didn't touch the guy, but that's the effort it takes. The commitment when you press.
Which is why he's gonna make the team. That's why he's gonna make the team.
There's no doubt he's making this team.
Yeah. What a story, Diego Luna. Good, better press there from Harriel. That's infectious too, right? Once you kind of get some momentum going on the press, and you know they can work.
Banna 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been triggered since the first minute of this game. I've been triggered, Banna. I've been triggered since I saw the starting 11. I've been triggered.
Good, getting some fouls in here. Though I didn't think he didn't need to foul.
Well, the fouls at least tell you that you're getting close enough to people, right? Break plays up where we weren't even close to people in the first half.
Yeah.
But finally, you're seeing like you can get close to a player to make that type of challenge. Now you're making the defenders think a little bit more. I have to be a little bit quicker. They're a little bit more prone to just launching balls and putting it.
How does every big
balls.
every big switch find their feet? Well, how does every big switch
I was
that
gonna
they
say,
hit?
is this field 100 wide, 100 yards wide tonight?
That's like the easiest play to kind of shift and move. It's a 50 to 60-yard ball off of a free kick. Like, I don't understand that at all.
Oh my! Look, played like through like Swiss cheese.
Oh no!
Oh, they're getting played through like Swiss cheese.
Yeah. Let's make Matt Turner our playmaker.
Damn, I wish I played in this day and age with the ball coming back to your feet all the time.
Big Tones, you would be pinging it around. For those that don't know, Big Tones could hit a 60-yard ball on a dime. Clean. So that when you received it, it wasn't coming in all hot.
I don't like the idea. Like, I don't know that as a tactic. I don't like the idea of going back all the time, which means you don't have options forward, which means you're not moving and finding spaces. You're not figuring that part out, but you got to get out of trouble. Good job there, actually.
Man, after the first minute of Turkey, when we went up 1-0, it's been downhill. Pochettino, after that first minute, must have been like, or that first 20, like, man, we're kicking ass. And then the Cardoso mistake happened, and it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, look at this.
I love the movement from Switzerland, by the way. They're a good team.
You think?
Yeah.
You should have talked about that before the game, Charlie.
Yeah, you should have said. Chuck said it was going to be 5-0 Switzerland, and 1 goal off of it, Chuck.
No, but my heart says they're going to win 6-0 the U.S. and my left quad said we're going to win 20-0. And
I was being hopeful. I can be hopeful and positive about my squad. But
sure,
they made it really hard.
We gotta be in reality here as well.
Yeah, so we have a Swiss fan, GC Zurich, and he says, "Why does the U.S. always allow the long diagonals? It's about 12th time this game." Hey, preaching to the choir here, GC. We don't understand it, especially on free kicks, where you can organize and get ready for that. Like, hey, by the way, there's somebody out wide. And hey, by the way, they've already hit this ball 9 times successfully. We might want to get. And by the way, we brought on Tolkien and Ream, 2 left-sided players that, okay, we should be able to.
And by the way, when the guy puts his head down and hit that long ball, you can start anticipating it. You're allowed to.
Hey, Tony, it's like, I think in year 1 as a professional, if you don't pick up those cues, you're not playing. Forget about what you do with the ball. If you're not picking up cues on and when to anticipate, especially if we're talking about a press, if you can't see when a guy's going to pass the ball versus dribble or play a long ball versus a short pass or a sideways pass, then we're talking about the international level. You're 10 steps behind.
This is below an average to good performance. This is terrible to awful.
So again, now I'm going to pose a question. This is where we are, right? In terms of if we don't have all of our top players, and we still have some of these guys who are on the bench that may be starters in the end. How many of these guys do you see making the team or pushing it to the end?
Diego Luna.
Yep.
I depending on injuries and the way that he seems to like him, I think Adjaman has an outside chance. Again, some guys might have to.
And one of the goalkeepers, Matt Freeze, like there's going to be an MLS goalkeeper in here because there's, oof.
Oh no. Oh my, what is Diego doing? Just play simple, baby. Play simple. There. Anytime we win the ball too, though, we win them in areas of the field where we can't really break them going the other way.
You're defending the whole time. You're breathing out of your nipples in this thing. Like you can't find any steam, you know?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
my!
He's got it's.
Yeah, now you're starting to crush confidence here. With Harriel and the way the game's going for him. Freeman must not be ready, because that would have been a logical change.
I'm trying to think about who else is available on the team.
You
could put Richards out there.
Yeah, I mean, you could put. He's played there, but that's not really where you want.
No, of course, but you could. I'm just saying you could.
Yeah.
Oh man,
could McKenzie go out there and Richards come central? I don't know that's not ideal, but that's your only other options.
Yeah. Oh, Tillman. I forgot he subbed in. They just do a really good job of not allowing us to have too much space in the midfield. Swiss in a low block right now. That's the last thing we need. Trying to break down Swiss is the low block.
How do you spell counterattack?
You spell it Ndoye, Ndoye.
Oh Lord! Look at Switzerland. Oh my God!
Now we got him. That press worked. It just doesn't turn into anything. That's what I think is. There we go. Go on, Tillman. Go on, finish it. Ooh. All right, asking some questions. Better. But now we're getting broken on right now, though we have the numbers, so they have to play back. Oh
gosh, is she seeing Doy's explosion?
Yeah. He said, please play it in behind for me.
Looks like there's plenty of good seats still available for this one. How much are they charging? How much are they charging
in the
for
area? If you're in the area, you got nothing to do the next half hour. Yeah, I don't know what they're charging.
Yeah. So the U.S. men's national team has not lost 4 straight games since a 5-game losing streak in 2007. 2007. I feel like I think we were part of that one, Chuck. we lost to Argentina.
I'll tell you right now, that first half, I can't remember a first half that poor and that one-sided. I really can't.
Yeah.
And
it was the Copa America and then the friendlies after that, I believe in 2007. And Chuck, you and I was part of the first 2 games of that losing streak. I apologize to everybody.
What friendlies?
Argentina and Paraguay, and then we lost to Colombia. So we lost all 3 games.
Yeah, I remember those.
We played Brazil, I thought, coming out of that. In 2007, we played Brazil or Argentina or Argentina or both. I can't remember. But that's pretty early on in the cycle and under Bob's tenure at that time. Obviously, 2010 and 2009.
Well, we played a great first half versus Argentina.
We did.
Phenomenal first half. And then
1-1.
Second half,
yeah,
Riquelme came to life. Yep.
Yeah.
And
that Riquelme guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
That Messi guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough one. I was on the field. First half was solid, though. All right, 62nd minute. U.S. still down 4-0 against the Swiss, and not looking like we have any real threats to score, but we seem to have relatively slowed down the Swiss attack. But maybe they're just not interested. Go on, Ajiman. Go on. Little in back and through. Good layoff there from Diego Luna. Ajiman, play it to somebody. You had options, and you decided to shoot.
You know what?
Wide,
I'm not mad. I'm not mad about.
I'm not either. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. You're right. I agree with you. All right, so we've gotten a little bit of real estate here, but the Swiss are just sitting.
Yeah, it's you're up 4-0 if you're Switzerland. So, now they're saying we dare you to try and break us down. You know, so Now they're kind of switching up their roles from the first half to now. They're playing on the counter. It's a little bit easier for them to predict how the U.S. are trying to play. Now for the U.S., good ball from McKenzie.
Go on, Harry. Good cross. Didn't get on the end of it. Oh, give it back to him. Ooh. Let's just win the second half, boys. Let's win the second half. Let's take this one step at a time.
This is not bad right here, this sequence. Twice you've won it right back after you lost it.
Yeah. Still don't feel like we're being threatening.
You're right.
They're just letting us play around the perimeter a little bit.
You had two opportunities at the top of the box. You had Ajiman and you had Diego Luna. You block a shot. So I don't think you're mad about those sequences.
No. It's true.
Boy, I'm thinking about the guy that's got to cut up this videotape at the end of this camp.
We got a lot of work to do.
That guy double.
You might as well just show the whole first half. You don't have to cut up anything. Just let it run.
Just going. The video session is going to be rough.
That's going to be painful.
Rough.
That's a rough video session.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a look here from minute 1 to minute 8 here. Okay. Then from minute 8 here to minute 30 here. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Some subs here from the Swiss. So is coming in for Xhaka. Elvedi is down right now, so it looks like he might be getting the switch as well. So there's a lot of comments about Mauricio Pochettino. One was that in Mexico, if you lost 4 straight games, you'd get fired. That's probably true.
Well, there is zero chance that could happen here. We are all into the World Cup. There's nothing that's going to change the trajectory or the path of Pochettino and this team. I mean, whether you like it or not, that's the agreement. I mean, they're not firing him at this point, and and they're right. In Mexico, that coach would be sacked. There's no coach that they say, hey, no matter what the results are, we're sticking with you to the World Cup. That just doesn't happen in Mexico and most of the world, I'd say. But here, that's what it is. We all were clamoring, right, for this big coach, for this group. They needed a big coach that has at least competed at the highest levels in Europe. He hasn't necessarily won trophies, but he's been, flirting with the Champions League final. He got to a final, right? That counts for something. He's competed at a high level in the Premier League. But in the end, that's the coach that we got, and people were excited about that. Okay, it's a big coach, but I'll tell you right now, I don't think he's anywhere near understanding this group and understanding this pool of players to the extent that he needs to for next year. I don't think he's anywhere close to where he needs to really understand, because right now he's doing the whole, I got to figure out who I can play. I got to figure out who's got quality, who can play. Right now, a year out from in a World Cup cycle, those answers. Those aren't questions you have to ask, right?
100%.
Right. But because we move so late to get a coach like him, that's where we are. He has to ask these questions that most coaches don't at this stage, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, so I did a bunch of interviews today because we're coming up on tomorrow, starting we're a year out from the World Cup, and then on Thursday we're a year out from the U.S. starting at the World Cup. So it's been kind of a busy couple days, and someone asked me today again, and we talked about this: does the U.S. need an American on that coaching staff? I mean, I think they do. Someone who understands the culture part of it.
They need two, Tony. They need two.
Yeah,
not one.
I said Tab Ramos only because everyone knows he's my friend, one of my best friends in life. But he's been around all of these guys. He's been to World Cups with all of these guys at the youth level. He understands, speaks both languages, so he won't have any problem communicating with the coaching staff and through the players and all of that stuff. But if it's not him, it's got to be somebody. I think it's vitally important. I said this a couple months ago. I said it after Nations League. I still believe that we're missing an opportunity here. And you know, at the end, at the end of all of this with Poch, some American coach is going to be tasked with picking up whatever pieces there are on the table right after this, getting through the next cycle. Why not have somebody, whoever you want to groom next, be part of that staff? I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I like the kind of transitional piece of bringing somebody in and at least being some kind of continuity between this staff and the next. Obviously, there's no guarantees. I mean, if we could crash out, and I don't know. I guess I expected more just from no matter who the coach was. It could be Mauricio Pochettino, could be whoever. Let's leave the coach nameless at this point. Given the results that we've seen, this will be his 10th game, 5 wins and 5 losses.
What would you say?
That's not good enough, regardless of who it is and what the name is, and regardless of who he's testing. It's just not good enough.
But now I'm gonna throw this on your plate, Jimmy. Is we know who the name is, we know the quality, we know where he's coached.
So my expectations are higher because of his name.
And even if it wasn't, you would have a certain expectation. So now that your expectations are higher, that means all of this has to fall lower, right? So where do you fall on how much does Pochettino understand his team or understand, how to get success with certain players? Because again, what did we think was going to happen against an in-form, in sync, well-drilled Switzerland side with a team of all hungry players, and you're trying to press a team that can play out of your weak press. So for me, it's a little bit of, okay, I understand you're trying to give players the opportunity, but are you setting them up to succeed? Are you setting yourself up to succeed as a coach?
Okay.
Right? Because all signs were pointing to this going to be a disaster.
And it is unmitigated. That first half in particular. And there's no, we could get on our recap podcast, which we'll do once the game ends, and give ratings and reviews, but nobody's coming out looking good in that first half. And the second half there's not much to report either. So, in the game against Turkey, I felt like, okay, we saw some things, and Tillman had a chance there that he put wide. But you saw some moments of there was something to build off of. And here I don't really think we have anything to build off of other than negative narratives. Like, for instance, Matt Turner still doesn't look sharp. That's a worrying sign. And
he wasn't going to look sharp, right? Unless he's playing every week and getting.
You're right, Charlie.
So no matter what, Matt Turner wasn't going to all of a sudden be sharp. It takes time. You could be injured too for 6 months. You don't come back and all of a sudden you're the Dest of old. It's going to take 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get into a rhythm, to build your body back, to build the strength back. For Matt Turner, plus you got to throw in all of the psyche into making a move to Lyon. You're a lot of stress and pressure going into this move because it has to be the right one. There's no ifs, and we're talking about Lucas Perry already being there. You're already thinking, oh God, I hope he gets sold. And that's a big if.
Yeah.
Did I see Downs? Was that, I just peeked over to my screen. Was that Downs coming in?
Yeah.
It looks like Downs is coming in.
I'm interested in seeing what he's got. I don't have a true profile on him other than the highlights that I see online.
I just saw a couple people with their faces painted red, white, and blue, and they looked sad. Oh, man. All right, so if Downs comes in.
Look at Luna. My man's working.
Who's he coming in for? I
got nothing but respect for
I feel like we changed out all of our attacking players. Maybe Berhalter
plays this
or Harriel. Go 2 strikers. Is Downs in? I haven't. Did that happen? Did I look away?
I haven't seen him come on the field. I was looking at some notes and I thought I looked down and saw Downs, but
All right, we're gonna
see
see here.
So whatever you do, you're gonna have to go with 2 strikers then, right?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, so you have Ajimon and Downs up top.
Really, a 3-5-2 is what we're gonna be in.
Yeah.
You're gonna take off Berhalter or Cardoso?
Yeah.
You probably take off Berhalter. And then Tillman's got to shift a little bit farther wide. Or Harriel's got to step up. Man, they love the long ball. And God, Swiss are so good at hitting either switches or long balls. The timing of their movement is excellent.
And was that Walker 3 yards behind McKenzie there? Why? Why not in line, Jimmy?
I didn't see it. I was taking a look at the timing. I was taking a moment to appreciate Switzerland and not our back line.
And we should, right? We should appreciate them. They're a solid team, man.
So good.
Selective memory, Tony.
Yeah.
I just wasn't looking at it. That's not a selective vision.
Jimmy's out. Talk about center backs.
No, this hasn't been good for anybody in the back line. Buck is wondering if we can beat Trinidad and Haiti. Yikes. Mackenzie's running into trouble. Oh, no.
Yep, play it through.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh.
Okay. That's Zeki Mdouni, who, Berhalter's coming out. Downs is coming in. Mdouni's good, man. Plays for Benfica. Good player.
He's a good player.
Yeah. 7 goals in 24 games this year. 2 assists. Good player. Downs, big boy.
Oh, so the kid Blundell went in. I saw Nico talking about him on that's a Boca kid. I saw him talking about him this morning on Morning Footy.
Mm-hmm. All right, 15 minutes left to go. Let's see what Downs can do here. Definitely shifting into a 3-5-2. Harry will be being the right wing back. Tolkien will be the left one. You got a midfield of Cardoso, Tillman, and Luna, and then 2 strikers in Ajimon and Downs. We'll see what this looks like moving forward.
Charlie, would you like to have that much time to check in 10 yards off the line and turn?
Are you kidding me? In that part of the field? Oh,
yeah.
All right, here we go. Tolkien outside of our box tries to find Downs in the middle. That would have been a good start to his national team.
I want to see Downs get some balls to his feet.
Same.
I want
see if he's got. I want to see that player profile.
Yeah, and see him maybe run in behind somebody. Just see what we can build on here with him.
Ooh, Tolkien.
I like that he sat in between the 2 center backs there, right, and made himself available. Needs to be a better cross, obviously. It's hard to take anything in this second half.
Oh, I'm like Diego Luna right there. Full press, and then they split us with 1 pass, and then there's no pressure. Our lines are not organized right now. It's too much space between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to lead to a lot of frustration. All right. Downs does well to get out of some pressure there in the middle of the field.
Okay.
But we end up going
backwards to our center back. In the middle, who's pressed.
Backwards.
Back.
Side.
Look at the guy centrally just kind of standing. Why not move into some space?
Because we're tired and probably embarrassed.
I get you're tired. You still got to do. Do you ever play a game you were tired?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this is soccer, man. People are tired when they play. I know I'm breaking news here, but Luna, look, at least he wants to try, man, and play.
Forward.
Pretty much sums it up for me.
Oh, don't go back. God.
Tolkien. All right, Tolkien. Okay, we got a corner. I think that's our first quarter of the game. We got it right where we want him, everybody. Here we go. Come on, baby. Somebody's got to dunk it here. We got 2 big boys up top. We play short. We play short. We got 2 big dudes in the middle of the field, and we're playing short. Come on. We got 2 guys. We got Ajimon and Downs. Like, give our big guys a chance. Oh, baby. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Good Lord.
Oh, no.
Pray. Oh.
Here we go. No.
Come on, go help him. What's McKenzie doing? Go help him.
What?
Help your boy.
I feel like Ndoye honestly took his foot off the gas and was like, I'm just going to try a little dink thing. I don't want to. I think he would shoot in a normal game. I think they're pissing on us right now.
Right now? The whole first half.
All right. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, fine.
It's kind of, for me, it's hard to take anything out of this. They've completely taken their foot off the pedal here, Switzerland. So the fact that we've got the ball, like, we're not really breaking that much pressure.
Yeah.
Oof.
I honestly feel like they're doing us a solid here by not
Yeah,
playing
they
at
are.
100%. Honestly.
They
it's like a unspoken understanding that, hey, we're kicking your ass right now. We're just gonna just keep everything in front of us.
Is there a guy here that you're okay? We know we haven't played.
I didn't get the last part of that, Tony.
Is there a guy here that you're really worried about? I'll tell you, I'm worried about Johnny Cardoso because
2 games.
This has been, and I want to give him
every international game for me that he's played in for the most part.
Yeah, like the first game, I was like, oh man, I'm thinking after the game, I'm sitting down thinking about
it.
You just jinxed him, Tones.
What?
He hit a long ball and he shorted.
No, he didn't jinx him because that's what he's been doing the whole game. He tried to
what I was saying.
He tried to reverse jinx him.
Yeah, tried to do the announcer's reverse jinx. That didn't work either.
He said Johnny's been giving the ball the way every game and every minute with the U.S. So here it goes, and he did it again.
Gordo says Switzerland being neutral. Classic. Yeah, I mean, they do feel like they are just playing at 75% now, and we don't really know what we should do. Yeah. There's still Pamet says this isn't the golden generation. They still don't have a signature win.
What did he just try and do there?
Did he try to scoop him?
He didn't scoop him, did he?
He tried to in a 4-0 game.
What's John Tolkien? He went street ball on us.
And not only that, the guy won the tackle and you're staying down on the ground after trying to scoop somebody. Come on. Oh, he dummied it.
Oh no.
Oh.
They're really good at breaking pressure. They're really good at breaking pressure.
But we're making them look like Manchester City. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, not this year's version, but yes, I hear you. But you're right. If your timing's off when you try to coordinate your press and one person is not in the right spot, you're dead. So if you haven't worked on this, to your point, I really love what you said before, Chuck, about you're running at people, you're throwing bodies at it, but what's the purpose? Are you trying to trap somebody somewhere? And it just doesn't feel like that's the case.
No, you're not saying, okay, where's the weak link?
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody identifies it at the same time.
Who do we want to force it to? What's our priority with the press? We gotta either shape it right or left. And then you make a decision on which side it is based on how weak that player is. Now, if they go to the stronger side, then everyone has to follow in suit because you're typically going to know what the trend is from that player. What do they typically do? Who's the player that it's going to be Granit Xhaka. So let's cut him out. Now maybe they either go forward direct and it's predictable or they swing it back around and they end up going to where you wanted to go in the first place. That clearly was not given, or these players either weren't given to that message clearly, or two, they just can't do it.
But when you're playing teams that are physically and bigger than you and faster than you, how many times did they run in behind? Like, so at some point, why not drop off and limit the space behind you?
Or
we're
wide.
playing for playing 40 yards. But if you're dropped off deep enough, Jimmy, the wide area with regards to speed doesn't matter anymore, right? You're still not giving room to run to the end line. Now they got to break you down, which this team is clearly capable, but I think you're a little bit closer to the ball. You're a little bit more connected. We wanted to go out and press. That's obvious. It didn't work. And we continue to do it. So, you make a decision as a manager. You're trying to work on something. You work on during the week. You want to give like some positive in it when you're watching this thing in a day. I don't know who's cutting this thing up, but good luck, because it's going to be hard finding those moments. Whatever it is that they worked on during the week, I'm guessing it was the press. It's going to be hard to find good moments in there.
Yeah, when you say cut up the video, now I understand that you're trying to think of like good moments, but
yeah,
I think the whole video is going to be about what they didn't do well. I don't know.
Can you name me 5 good plays in this game?
No, the sequence before that ended up with 2 shots from the top of the box is pretty much it, man.
Yeah, but that's when Switzerland.
Yeah, but it's a good play. There's nothing. It's a good play. Yeah. And now you're going to bring Freuler on.
Yeah, Freuler just came on.
Yeah, he must need a little a run around.
Jog. Oh man. When's our first game?
You see, they finally get Coble to just kick the ball. He didn't even try and build out of the back that time. That should have been what was happening from the first minute of the game.
God, we have a game on Sunday against Trinidad. That's right, Sunday.
Oh damn! It's this Sunday.
Yeah. Wow. This team needs more time than I still wonder. This is Mauricio Pochettino's first international job. It's just different than the club scene, and I wonder how much that frustrates him for not being able to really implement the style of play that he would prefer, because he just doesn't have the time. Now, obviously, he knew that when he took the job.
Yeah, that's all international managers. For me, that's not that can't be an excuse.
I get it. No, I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm just saying that I don't think he maybe knew how difficult it was going to be.
That could definitely be the case.
Got some sauce. Yeah. Oh, come on, ref. Come on, just do us one solid. Couldn't just give us one throw in, ref. We're down 4-0. God. Come on.
Well, nobody's ever going to question Diego Luna's work rate and his effort anymore.
Nope. My man's for real. You could etch his name onto the roster right now for the World Cup.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
100%. His commitment, that's unquestioned. Like, his intensity is he's willing to bleed, but he's got the quality. We've talked about this from the Under-20 World Cup. This kid was, I don't know how he didn't make the Olympic team. Like who
he should have
saw,
made the Olympic.
Yeah, but who said, he's not a starter on this team?
Marko Mitrovic, the manager.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing.
Yeah, wow, this is rough. Play it. All right, here we go. Ajiman in the corner, 1v1, back to goal. Lean into him. Foul. We'll take the foul.
Yep.
We'll take it. Amenda, young center back from Eintracht Frankfurt. He's 21, I think. Yeah.
He had a bad angle there. Was anyone running around the corner to give him some support?
None that I saw.
Didn't look like it, right?
Yeah. All right, got about 3 minutes left of this game. If the ref was kind, he would not add any extra injury time. All right. Let's see if we can get one back. And then we can claim that we won the second half, even though Switzerland took their foot off the gas, which they probably did out of respect. And that goes out for a goal kick.
Is that Johnny who missed that header?
Johnny got the header, and it glanced wide. This is Conradino's play-by-play. Sad Conradino play-by-play.
We've seen Johnny be able to head it properly with Real Betis, but this he just doesn't connect with it properly.
Against Real Madrid only.
Yeah, very little to offer in the final third in this game. Very, very little. And we saw in Switzerland during the first half a team that was aggressive. They were dictating. Second half, they're up 4-0. Now they've switched their style of play. They've kind of said, all right, we're going to relax. We're going to drop deep, see if they can break us down. And now the U.S., they're going to try and muster up something. And every time they do and we win it, we're going to counter, play into space. And it's been a very chill performance from Switzerland in the second half, which has allowed the U.S. to be on the ball. But again, you might come in, starting watching this game. Let's say you started watching this stream during the second half. You say, hey, the U.S. have possession. They look like they're getting more touch.
Yeah, but not going anywhere.
No, Switzerland's allowing them to play as well.
You might have said that. You might have said that, and then you looked up in that left corner. You saw it was 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this has been a underwhelming performance. Probably the understatement of the year. We are not up to the level that we need to be. And I'd like to see Downs touch the ball at some point. Still waiting for that
Jimmy,
to happen.
We're nowhere near. And I understand we're missing some key players. What would you say? Five starters? Dest, Ante Robinson, Pulisic, Weah, McKinney. Would you say even Musa in this case? Musa's better than anything we've seen.
No, I would say Balogun would start.
Outside of Luna. Oh, Balogun, 6.
Then maybe one of your center backs.
Where do you put Scally in that conversation?
Well, if Dust is in, then Scally's not in the conversation.
He's played very much. He's played quite a bit, right? Where do you put Tessman in that conversation? Well, who knows? You said Weston, right?
At this point, I'd play Tessman over Cardoso.
But Tyler would be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tessman.
I'm playing Tessman over Cardoso from what I've seen.
I'm with you there.
Tessman probably was bummed about not being in this camp initially, but got to be feeling good after how Johnny's played. Like
Gio?
I wouldn't start Gio.
No. But you put him in the group right now. And I'm not a fan of not playing.
Reluctantly.
Yeah.
Reluctantly. I'm waiting for somebody else to take the reins. I mean, Tillman's been fine. I thought he looked as good as he has against. I mean, that's his. He
hasn't been good enough.
But the bar has been low for him. I get that, but he still has something. We clearly see that on a week-to-week basis.
So let me ask you something.
I wouldn't start him.
How about
Tony? Right there.
Put it up. Freeze. Yeah, it's who's that? Nick. I was just going to ask the same question.
I wouldn't start Turner right now.
I wouldn't either. I think this is Matt Freeze has to start for me in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Yeah.
I mean, we already know what Matt Turner, who he is. What we need is for Matt Turner to become the best version of Matt Turner over the next 6 months of this club, right? We need him to get back to where Matt Turner is. I think everybody playing at their top level, Matt Turner's the goalkeeper of this team. But he's clearly not in form right now.
Yeah, imagine Leon being like watching this game and then him not being the number one through the Gold Cup. Yeah, that's not going to be a good.
But I mean, they know
Johnny getting a yellow on that one. Easy.
They know his position. It's not.
Yeah, sure.
You're buying a goalkeeper. They know what he's up against right now in his career.
I don't know if
this is rough, guys.
I don't know if Matt Turner is going to be the number one for Leon, even if Perry leaves. I just think he's not in a good way at the moment.
Yeah, but if they spend $8 million,
he'll get his chance. Yeah, but I'm not saying he's gonna stick. I think his feet just work against him. And that will be one of the knocks. And then because if he's not like A+ shot stopping, then it's like, well, his feet aren't good and he's not stopping a lot of shots. So if his shot stopping is amazing, then you always can make up for it. Like, well, we didn't buy him for his feet kind of stuff, you know. How does that pass even happen there, dude?
So we haven't put a shot on goal yet. We haven't even forced Coble to try and make a save yet.
Don't do it to us. Yeah.
That's the game.
We're past the 3 extra minutes. He gave 3 extra minutes. I want to write a strongly worded letter to this referee. Like, it's 4-0, bro.
I just looked at my phone. I haven't looked for.
I haven't either. I haven't looked at my phone either.
Holy cow!
I don't want to look at my phone either.
Yeah, I got some messages. That's for sure.
Oh my God! My wife chimed in. She flew to New Jersey. I don't even know she got there yet.
I don't want to look at my phone either.
Holy cow!
Oof.
All right, that's it. That's the game. It's final. 4-0 in favor of the Swiss. The U.S. with a very, very poor performance. And we're really disappointed. Obviously, we've been concerned for a while now, and I think this just keeps that concern at a pretty high level. I don't know if it ramps it up more for you, Chuck, or not. Does it? Does your concern ramp up more, or knowing that we made 9 changes, we don't have
no, it's ramped up.
It's ramped up.
It's not ramped up because of this performance, because of the scoreline. It's ramped up because this is the trajectory that we're seeing from this team from Nations League to now. And we questioned heart and soul and passion, and you can bring it, but what we always expect and what we're always trying to rate a game on and analyze a game on is quality. So again, you can have all the passion and heart and effort, and I'll still question the intensity. You might have the passion and effort, but the intensity wasn't where it needed to be, but the quality is way off. So yes, I'm concerned because if we're not even talking about the intangibles, which is what I want to be talking about, is just the quality. This is where we're talking about. It's not even close. It is not even close. So how can we not be concerned? Because yes, you say it's all these changes. The coach made those changes. That's Pochettino. He made those changes. So is he? Are you saying he's trying to sabotage the team? And you say no, he's not. So then what does that tell you?
It tells me I'm concerned, Chuck. That's what it tells me. All right, we're going to sign off on the Golasso Network. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And come join us on the Golasso America YouTube channel, where the conversation is going to keep going, or just listen to our podcast anywhere you enjoy.
Sorry you had to watch that, guys.
Yeah, that was hard for you, probably for us. Hopefully you enjoyed it, at least hanging out with us. Do that again soon. All right, that's it for us with the Golasso America. On the YouTube channel, we're going to keep it going. Golasso Network, thank you for hanging out with us. What's up, everybody? We are in recap mode for the U.S.'s 4-0 loss to Switzerland a couple days after they lost to Turkey 2-1. 4 straight losses for the U.S. First time that's happened since 2007 when Chuck and I were on the team. We don't need to get into that. Welcome to your favorite average to good podcast. Call it what you want. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Tony Meola and Charlie Davies. And
don't be linking me to that.
You're part of it, though.
Don't you dare! Hey,
some team player you are, Charlie.
Hey, first of all, time out, Jimmy. Let's get facts. Let's get the facts straight. The U.S. The U.S. at the time we came into the team, the U.S. had won the Gold Cup. They had beaten Mexico off the Benny Philhaber incredible volley.
Yeah. Sure.
So we then, in essence, took our B team to Copa America, where everyone was playing their A team, and we're also Copa America and Gold Cup. At that time, you're playing to get a ticket to go to Confederations Cup. So Gold Cup, every one every one of two, I am triggered. Every one of two had significance. You're playing for a ticket to the Confederations Cup, which we know how valuable the Confederations Cup is. The Copa America we played in, that was an Argentina side that featured Messi,
I get it,
Riquelme, Zanetti, Crespo.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah. All-star. Aymar, Juan Sebastian Verón, Mascherano, Tevez, everybody, right? Everybody. Yeah. And then we played a Paraguay side that had Roca Santa Cruz, and they were flying. And then a Colombian
we should have won. That was talented too. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So don't even connect us to this, to a Panama and to.
That's true. And Canada.
Don't even try to make the two similar at all.
All right. So we triggered Chuck to start the show.
Damn, we didn't even get into it.
We didn't even get into it yet.
Wow. Let's talk about the game, Chuck.
Let's talk about the game.
No, and I'm going to have
usually we go line by line.
No.
But we can agree that every line was terrible. Okay, listen. We started the game, and there was some good interplay on the left side. I'm like, okay, baby, let's go. We got some good, Arsene, Brendan Aronson working on some guys. And that was pretty much it for the first half in terms of us being dangerous. They scored in the 13th minute. Then they scored 10 minutes after that. Then they scored 10 minutes after that. And then they scored their fourth goal in the 36th minute. We were down 4-0 after 36 minutes. Unacceptable. So nobody gets a passing grade. Nobody even gets close to a passing grade of that starting team. Now, where we should kind of explore this is the accountability. Everybody needs to take responsibility for it, as does Mauricio Pochettino. He made 9 changes to his starting 11 from Turkey. He said he wanted to see everybody. He saw everybody, Big Tones, and I feel like he got some answers to some questions that maybe he didn't expect to get. That was not a good performance from the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, I said before the game, 9 changes. I couldn't believe it. I texted you guys in the group, and I couldn't understand how you make 9 changes, think you're going to be successful against a team like this. You're talking about a team that's probably, ambitions of a quarterfinal in a World Cup in a year, right? And a team that has had success in the World Cup. And you're going to make 9 changes with what's already your B squad. So, yeah, Mauricio Pochettino has to take a little bit of this. There's no doubt players didn't perform, but you got to put players in the position to perform. And we can argue about who's here, who's not here. This was terrible. We've had I'll call them second teams. I hate B teams, but we've had B teams playing these games. So someone put in our private chat here, have we seen, and it does, have we seen a worse performance? I'm gonna guess we have. I got to go back though and try and find one, because I don't remember one off the top of my head. Maybe someone can say, hey, this performance was worse, but this was a bad performance.
Ahead of the 2006 World Cup, we played a friendly in Germany, and it was 0-0 at half, and we gave up 4 goals.
Okay,
before we scored one at the end. That hurt. That was a tough 45 minutes. That was a tough.
You just said 2006. Some of our viewers haven't seen a game, never saw a game in 2006. So some people have never seen a worse game than this in the World Cup. This was better. Sorry, this was worse than Colombia before the Copa America, right?
So
yes,
we actually played some stuff and some things didn't go our way. And Matt Turner was sharp in that game. Like, give me something out of here. Like, this was worse. For
zero shots on goal, only 1 corner kick. So if we talk about being threatened in the attacking third, this was not the performance. Chuck is our resident number 9. I think even you right now at this tender age maybe could have had more of an impact.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, I would have. What I would say is, from Brian White, I'm not surprised, because we know his strengths in MLS, in Vancouver. He needs service. He's not a player who's ever going to create on the dribble. He's not a player who runs in the channels and outruns back lines. He's not a player who's going to check and turn and run at you. He's a player that relies on service. At what point did we see the U.S. have possession to even create chances for him? So again, you're playing a man down because he's not going to give you anything from the attacking phase of the ball as a striker. Now, Patrick Agyemang, again, I've said this from the very first time I watched him play. He has a lot of tools, but he's raw. And I would love to work with him as like a striker coach, because I think I could really help his game in terms of you have to dictate to your players where you want the ball and where and what's going to cause backlines havoc, making these U runs, like U-shaped runs, coming to and then bending in behind, getting the center backs to check. He can hold off players. He's strong enough. When he gets into space, he can outrun a lot of players, but it's not often. It's not consistent enough. And so when I'm looking at the 9 and Damian Downs, he lost the ball here or there. He also just didn't look comfortable. I didn't expect him to look comfortable because we hadn't seen him. He didn't get a proper run out. I would have liked to maybe see him get the start today, because we're talking about Poch wanting to see players. He's seen Brian White. He knows what Brian White can offer. How many times do you have to see him? He gave Patrick Agyemang the chance against Turkey. Now it's a friendly. All right, give Damian Downs a run. Let him see what he can do. So I'm frustrated with the level of quality, because I don't want to talk about the intangibles. Every player should have that intensity or the fight, or, man, I'm a year out from a World Cup. I want to be on this team. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I will run through a brick wall for my country, for my team, to prove because we already saw what it is for Diego Luna. My man took a broken nose, blood gushing. That's an easy ask or an easy tell for all the players to say, now I know what it takes to get on Pochettino's good side. It's just sacrifice yourself for the team. And he got the quality. So he sacrificed himself and he got an assist. We just need to see quality. Keep the ball, beat your players, the simple things. And from that number 9 position, it's been disappointing. You're muted. Come on,
muted.
Jimmy.
You're muted,
on,
Tony. I mean, Jimmy.
Come on, cream cheese. That's a red dot for the
red dot.
That's a big red dot.
I saw a lot of red dots tonight. Okay, Chuck. So I'm just adding to the red dots that are all around us at the moment. I think that's the big point, and I appreciate you bringing that up. That there are probably some guys on the team that are giving that type of energy, right? And giving that type of output and running as hard as they can and trying to do all the little things that are non-negotiable, but that's that quality part. And so there was a moment in the game, and I wrote it down, but I didn't mark the minute, but it was pretty early on, maybe the first 10, 15 minutes, where Switzerland all of a sudden decided to press us high, and we didn't cope with it. At that point, they'd kind of stayed in a mid-block or dropped off a little bit, maybe kind of see what we got. And then they just hit a switch and pressed us, and we couldn't play through it. And I thought, wow, this is going to be a long game here. I didn't say it because we were in the middle of our watch along, and we appreciate everybody that was hanging out with us for that. But I knew then that that's another gear, another quality, another layer that Switzerland has that we don't. And yes, I know we don't have our top team and all of our top players available, but even with those guys, sometimes I wonder how connected we are in terms of how we're moving as a group. And the timing of our movement, and are we trying to trap in certain areas, and how sophisticated are we in our team shape and what we're in our pressing schemes, I should say. And I'm not convinced that that's ironed out yet. I don't think we've seen a lot of evidence of that, and definitely not with this particular group, which is made even harder when you make so many significant changes. And 9 changes to your starting 11 is a lot. So in terms of takeaways from this game, the only takeaways I really have is more like guys that just made it harder for them to play their way into the team. Johnny Cardoso, I didn't see much of him. Matt Turner didn't look good, right? Our center backs, Zimmerman and McKenzie, didn't look good, right? Whether they're involved in everything, and it's more the wing backs, the Harriel and Arvston that are ones that are getting beat, and now they've got to recover. You still got to organize, right? I still want to hold those guys, the center backs in particular, to that standard. One, you got to have presence. You got to have communication. You can't have the lines collapse on each other. And if you can feel the team shape is coming apart, for me, that's on the center backs. Whether they want that responsibility or not, I'm giving it to them because that's what I expect from that position. And so, there's a lot. And I know that they maybe haven't played together before, but But whatever. It's a national team, man. You have to figure it out. And you have to figure it out quickly, especially against a good opponent like Switzerland. So I don't know about takeaways. Tones, any takeaways from you on this? I mean,
yeah, I'm not. We said it before the game. I'm not surprised with 9 changes. How the hell do you go and press and think it's going to be successful when you make 9 changes in the game? We said it before. We said it a half hour before kickoff when we saw this team. I think it's impossible to ask that of your players. Now, you're asked to do it, so you got to go do it. Right. And we couldn't figure that out at all. I don't know that we had more than 5 moments where we actually turned over a ball because our press put them under pressure. Right. I can't look at the second half because Switzerland completely took their foot off the pedal. Right. They dropped in. You had a bunch of players conserving energy. So I can't really look at the second half outside of. One thing I do know is that give me everybody with Diego Luna's heart. I'll take him every day of the week, man.
Tony, I got to ask you a question because I think you brought up a great point. The 9 changes. Let's say you don't know who the coach is, you don't know who the team is. You just know you're a year out from a World Cup and you've had some poor performances leading up to this Gold Cup. All right, I'm not just a tournament, and you got 2 friendlies against good competition ahead of this tournament. You lost the first game 2-1, and everybody and their mom was saying, "Oh, it's all positives. Everything was positive. We got a lot of positive." Which to me, Tony and Jimmy, I was confused as hell when everyone's like, "Oh, so many positives. It was really great. We did," and I'm thinking, did y'all watch the same game I watched?
There weren't so many positives.
Like sure, there were some good things, but we lost at home to Turkey in a friendly and a beatable side. Yeah, they have some good players, but they lack pace in a lot of areas. We got beat. So I'm going to ask you this. The next game, you make 9 changes. What does that tell you about that coach in that scenario? Would you say that coach knows his players?
No, absolutely not. And by the way, you're going to make 9 changes again coming up on Sunday because you can't play this team against Trinidad. You just can't.
I agree. So now you go back to the issue we had in the first place.
So how alarming is that to begin with? You're going to make 9 changes in a game where now we're ramping up and everything seemed to be a little bit more important. You should have a good idea of who can play and who can't. Who's going to be a contributor and who can't? I don't think we have to play that guessing game at this stage, but you make 9.
Okay. Well, let's have a real conversation then about Mauricio Pochettino. Mm-hmm. And if this is where we are and he doesn't know the player pool at this point, how much homework is he actually doing? And is he putting eyeballs on? I don't know. Is he relying on his assistants to do it? Is he putting his own eyeballs on this? Like I have a lot of questions as to.
Let me just say this, Jimmy, to finish before, because I know where you're going. What I'm going to say is I'm not going to assume that he's not doing work, but what I can say from what I see, too many players are being played out of position. Too many players are getting opportunities that I don't think should necessarily be getting that opportunity or that chance based on their level. Not their playing time, based on their quality. For instance, in the first game, Jack McGlynn is playing as a right winger. Yes, he scored, but is that a place where you really see him having success when he has no pace, he has no quickness, he's not a one-on-one player, although he got that ball cut in on his left and scored, but he's not a winger. So how does that help set your team up for success? Because ultimately you're unbalanced. I go back to some of these substitutions he's made, putting in, Nathan Harriel to start, who was a call-in guy, right? He was a replacement guy, and now he's getting the start. I just can't figure it out. I really can't.
Well, if he's leaving some guys at home because of footballing decisions, Scally, Sargent. Obviously, if those 2 guys were in the team, we'd be a little bit more solid. And it's okay that those are a couple of reasons. We have other guys that are out for injuries and what have you. So I don't know. I just feel like we should have a conversation. We can almost leave his name out of it. Big Tones. 10 games he's coached, 5 wins, 5 losses. We don't even have a draw in there, which I find interesting that we couldn't like scrape out a draw against a tough opponent or, manage the game to get a draw, whatever. I'm getting into the weeds here, but 5 losses in 10 games. As we had comments from others during the watch along, if that's another country and now 4 straight losses, that guy's on the hot seat. And because of his big name, because of what he brings, he's going to get the pass. But he has to take responsibility for what's happening as well, because maybe his ideas aren't being executed at the level. Yeah, of course, the players have to take their but a proper coach, proper leader is going to.
The roster was unbalanced to begin with.
Right, so that's on him.
Yes, 100%. How many wingers did they bring? Can you name me one real winger?
Like a proper winger?
Yes, on this team.
I mean, you started McGlynn at wing in the first match. Right?
Quinn Sullivan, is that your only winger? And we're not talking. This is not an experienced winger. This is your only winger that you brought into camp.
Yeah.
Is that not alarming to you?
It is. Yeah, I'm looking at the roster now.
Yeah, but Mauricio Pochettino, look, when the team doesn't do well, the manager takes the heat. I mean, that's everywhere in the world. Okay, we're not nearly as sort of trigger happy, if you will, here in the U.S. He's not going anywhere. He's got to figure this stuff out. He's got it 1 year from tomorrow to figure this stuff out. That's what he's got left. I think he figured out some things tonight, and they're all some guys that he probably doesn't think he can trust in this. And I think we're going to see that reflected in what he puts on the field in the Gold Cup. For me, more than ever, the most important thing in the Gold Cup for me now is winning. Because if you don't start to build a winning culture and you start losing a string of games, I was talking to a friend today, one of my best buddies, and we were talking about it. I said, look, if the U.S. plays shitty in the World Cup and wins the World Cup, like no one talks about.
No one cares.
No one cares. You play great and get knocked out, and I'm exaggerating both examples to make a point, but you play great and get knocked out in the first round, you're getting hammered, bro. Mm-hmm. No matter how great you played, your mission is success for me. I'm saying it. I want to see the next team that gets, for me, the next successful World Cup team is the team that gets to the semifinals of the World Cup. We were already in a quarterfinal in 2002. Didn't get it done. Almost did, but didn't get it done. We could talk about, did we get robbed, all that stuff. Yeah, we probably got robbed a little bit, but we didn't get the job done. The next successful team for me is the team that gets to the semifinals of the World Cup. Period. Mm-hmm. That's it, because that's the next step.
All right, we're going to take our first and only break of this recap because we are emotional. So come back and join us here on Call What You Want, and we'll start to dig in on some more individual performances in this disappointing 4-0 loss to Switzerland.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal!
On the UEFA Champions League channel, streaming free.
Okay, welcome back in to Call It What You Want. We're in our feelings here after a pretty disappointing, really disappointing performance against Switzerland, 4-0 loss. One of the conversations that we had, and I'm Concacaf, by the way, that's how the Brazilians say it, alongside Chuck Wagon and Big Tones. I'm also known as Red Dot Trash Can Cream Cheese, but Concacaf is fine. And one of the conversations we had during the watch along was individual performances and who are we worried about the most. And Big Tones, you had one that I hadn't thought about, but makes a ton of sense. So which player that played today are you the most worried about?
Yeah, I'm most worried about Johnny Cardoso in the middle of the field. what I see, we talk about, we were mentioning for months Tillman, right? Can we get the PSV Tillman? Tillman is a lot closer to his performances at PSV than Johnny is to his performances at Real Betis. That's the bottom. He's not been good for the U.S. team. I after the first game, I thought to myself, oh man, the guy's going through a lot. There's these rumors about Tottenham. There's these rumors about Atletico Madrid, and that's probably weighs on you. And okay, he made a mistake. Let's give him another opportunity. At some point, you got to play. At some point, you have to play, and you have to show that you're a national team player. We have seen how many players in the world over the years that are great at the club level. They just don't perform well at the national team level. That happens, right? That happens to players. He's a guy I'm worried about. He really is.
Chuck, before you go, I'm really concerned about Matt Turner. I know he's not playing. You got to play a lot to stay sharp. I'm worried about Matt Turner. I agree with you on Johnny, and I love that the comparison that you made, Tones, about how Tillman is closer to his PSV form than Johnny is to his Betis form. That's really spot on. Matt Turner, we don't even have a form to compare him to because he never plays. Now, there is talk about him going to France to play for Lyon, and Tanner Tessman would ultimately be his teammate. I feel like there's still a couple hurdles left for him to overcome, and they got to send apparently their number one is on the move as well, and that would benefit Turner. But he has to play, and I'm not even convinced that he'll end up being the number one, even when he gets there, even if he's slated to do it from the start. I just worry about his dip in form, which isn't just like a one-off. It feels like it's been going on for quite some time. I didn't think he looked good tonight, and I'm concerned. So that would be the player that I would add to the list. How about you, Chuck?
Yeah, Turner's probably number one because I'm not concerned with Zimmerman, Harriel, Arfson, Cardoso, Berhalter, the Aronson, Sullivan.
They're not starting for us.
None of these guys are going to be impact players at the moment from what I've seen so far. But Matt Turner's supposed to be in that conversation. And to me, I don't make a move from Nottingham Forest unless I know I'm the number one. He's going to Lyon in hopes that they sell a player who's contracted there. I wouldn't be going until they sign him, until they've accepted a bid. Because guess what? You could find yourself in the same situation you did when you were at Arsenal, the same situation you did when you went to Crystal Palace as a number two, right? We all know he needs to move. And Liga is a great league, especially when you're going to a club like Lyon. Fantastic city. It'd be great for his family. And the level of the club, the supporters, everything's phenomenal when you're playing, when you're first choice. But when you are not playing, we are just going to get more of the same, and his confidence is going to continue to come down, and his level is going to come down. As we saw tonight, he should have saved that second goal. He got his fingertips on it. Should have saved it. But when you aren't playing for so long, you lose a little bit of everything. Not only your confidence and your rhythm, but you lose the ability to make that fingertip save. It doesn't go through his fingers. The time where he's playing every time, he gets that. He reads it a little bit more. He's got a little bit more bounce in his step. So of all the players that stands the most chance to start or play a role in 26 World Cup, I think Matt Turner's got to be number one. But I'm with Tony for sure on Cardoso, because every time we've seen him play with the U.S. men's national team, it's been underwhelming. I watch him play at Real Betis, and I've really taken a liking to what I've seen from him this season, because I've really had a chance to watch a lot of him, especially with them in the Conference League. And I think in his role he takes a big step forward because he's got some cover. And he's always kind of relied on to be that outlet. And a lot of times they're pretty good at possessing the ball, and they have some dangerous players who can create space for them with speed, whether it's Cedric Bakambu, who does a good job of making runs and giving a little bit more space in the midfield for him. But ultimately, those are the two players that I'm really, really concerned about.
All right. So lots of concern to spread around. I got this question on the Twitters. Okay, it's from my pal Micah. He says, Jimmy, talk me off the ledge, my dude. What the absolute F is going on?
Oof.
And when I think about that question, Tones, I'll come to you on this too. And Chuck, obviously, I want you to chime in. I don't have a straight answer because in terms of what I saw today, yes, the U.S. got outplayed. But in some ways, there was a quality difference between Switzerland and us. But it still came down to proper soccer decisions, right? It still came down to executing at a high level. It still came down to being able to defend properly in 1v1 situations. In identifying, hey, by the way, Switzerland continues to hit the big, long switch. We might want to cheat it a little bit and anticipate that a little bit and slow it down or get adequate pressure on the ball. There's simple solutions that we just couldn't find quickly or consistently, and that gives me a lot of concern. So when somebody asks me what the F is going on, I guess that these soccer players that we put out there today aren't as good as the other team's soccer players because we just couldn't get it going on either side of the ball consistently, and that gives me concern. And it has to give Mauricio Pochettino and his team and his coaching staff concern. And God, I don't want to hit the panic button. Yes, it's easy because there's a 1 year out and it's a nice, but oh shit, man, I don't really have anything to hang my hat on. You know, when Chuck wasn't with us, Tony, we were trying to find the positives in the Turkey game, and there were some, right? There was some good passing patterns.
There were some. Yeah.
But it's still hopeful.
Some.
I get it. It's still
people are leaving the game like they won 3-1. That people were talking about the game like it was like super positive. It's like, okay, in a game we can look at the positives, we can look at the negatives. In this game against Turkey, we're going to focus on the positives, but there weren't all positives. Let's be cognizant of the fact that we lost this game. We made some poor decisions and poor errors, and we didn't execute. But from where we were and with this new group of players, these are the positives we want to focus on. And that's fine. But it was, for me, it felt like we're going to try and shift this narrative and say it's super positive. It's impossible to do that with the way that game went. It's impossible. And then to go into this game and just play that much worse with new players that you say, oh, I'm going to get a reaction out of these guys. These guys are hungry. And it absolutely tanked.
So what's going on? Like when I feel like we're dancing around the question because we don't know exactly what to say.
Well, it's a combination, Jimmy. It's very simple. The coaching is not good enough because the tactics clearly not clued in because they're not well drilled enough.
Or and they're not executing at a high level.
They're not executing. They're not well drilled enough. And then on top
player
of that,
selection and tactics.
So guess what? It's again, we're back at what it was with Berhalter, and before that, it's players selection. They're playing tactics and executing intensity, tempo, quality, players. So it's both. It's not just one. It's both. Not good enough.
Yeah. Right.
Not good enough. It's on both sides. It's just not good enough. Period.
Yeah, I'm trying to, Jimmy, give you a positive out of this, and I can't, like, maybe Diego Luna, I said it, so, but that's it, man. There's no positive in this. I still go back to Poch. I said before the game, I just don't get, you're playing, look, Pochettino probably knows this Swiss team better than he knows the U.S. team, right? He has seen all of these players for the last 10 years in Europe, right? He knows this team. You are going to roll out this group against Switzerland and expect anything different? I didn't know it would be so bad, but I predicted both losses with this group, right? I didn't know it was going to be this way, but you're going to tell me that there's no way Pochettino and his staff felt confident when they put those names on the paper that this was going to go their way today, right? And for me, I go back to those guys are there to win games. That's what they're going to be judged on. So you get your ass kicked 4-0, it's not a good night. It's not a good night anywhere on the field. This was 4-0 going on 6 or 7. This wasn't 4. Sometimes you lose 4-0, and it doesn't feel like 4-0. This felt like 4-0 from the first minute, right? This is what it felt. It actually felt worse. I don't even know where to start with this group. I'm not worried about Gold Cup. I'm worried about if we don't find a way to win, because Pochettino, Greg Berhalter, Bruce Arena, Bob Bradley, and the list goes on. Bora, Bob Gansler, every one of them I've said forever for my entire life, the national team coach is judged on the cycle of the World Cup, right? That's what he's judging. That's what you bring national team coaches here. We have Gold Cups in Copa America, but in the end, we judge everybody on the World Cup. And that's where I will ultimately judge Mauricio Pochettino. But with regards to that worry button, I'm getting close, man. Like I'm getting my hand came out of my pocket to see where that panic button is.
Where's that button?
Yeah, it's there. I know it's on the desk right now. And
we got one, Tony. David Godoy. Stop blaming the coach. It's the players who played pathetic. Okay.
I don't disagree with that, but
David, no one's saying the players didn't play pathetic. They did.
We talked 30 minutes about that already.
We are saying you can't tell me that Pochettino's not to blame for anything.
Yeah,
playing players out of position. We go back to the Nations League semifinal, playing a base of 2 because he loves the 4-2-3-1. But Tessman,
yeah.
And then when you want to
McGlynn.
And then you want to bring in McGlynn, that's the game changer. So you're saying you're down a goal, you're playing against a low block and a 5-4-1, and you say, you know what? I'm gonna switch it up here. I'm gonna bring in Jack McGlynn. So you can't tell me that's the player's fault with that. So,
but at least Charlie, at a minimum, at least we could go. Maybe he doesn't know his pool of players, but that's 3 months ago. That's 3.5 months ago, whatever it's been, right? Like now you need to know. We're a year from the World Cup. You need to start knowing. Maybe tonight you get closer to knowing at least the players that you don't want to bring. Now we got to figure out the players that are going on the field and win the game. And in what universe? Who was the guy's name? Well, I didn't see it. Whatever. David. In what universe does a team lose 5 games and we don't look at the coach? In what planet do we do that?
Yeah,
tell him.
In what? At some point, like, okay, we have to look at some point. Is it 6 games if they lose? Is it 7 games if they lose?
Yeah,
at some point we gotta look at the manager again. I just looked for the panic button. I found where it is now. Now I'm just sitting on my desk somewhere.
What's interesting is let's use Turkey and Switzerland as examples. They are also a year out from the World Cup. They look a lot more put together than we do. Even if we had our top players,
most teams are. Most teams are.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. Exactly my point. So we're a year out, and we still don't have a real idea of who our first 11 is, who our super subs that are going to come in and change the game, our real style of play. Let's even look at our rivals. Canada, Jesse Marsh is getting that together. They seem to be pretty locked in. Mexico's been resurgent under Javier Aguirre. I know they lost to Switzerland 4-2, so they also shipped 4 goals against the Switzerland team. They were up 1-0 on Turkey last time I checked. They're playing tonight. So they seem to be rounding into form, or at least having an identity. And we feel as far off of it as we've ever been. So where's that panic button, Tone? It's got to show it.
It's on the desk here.
So yeah, it's not on the players to get the style of play and the identity right. They have to go out and execute what that style of play and identity is. And so I think that there has to be some responsibility and accountability from Mauricio Pochettino. I don't care how much money he makes. We could leave his name out of it. If name and money weren't even there, we would still be questioning whoever it was with these losses and how the team is performing and the decisions that are being made.
Jimmy,
so it's not even specific to him. It's just the role. That's what comes with the job. And we're a year out, and that needs to get sorted out. We've been saying it forever. This needs to get sorted out soon because we're running out of time.
You nailed it. I mean, can you imagine this was Greg Berhalter doing this?
Oh man, the people on the street,
and then we're not going to blame the coach anymore, right? Yeah, I mean, it's look, the players sucked tonight. They were awful tonight. But
as my kid said, they stink.
They stink, right? They stink. But it's clear that he doesn't know the players right now. He hasn't figured out the players yet.
All right. So what's next? We got the Gold Cup on Sunday against Trinidad. Are you guys nervous for Trinidad now?
I'm not nervous. I hate going into things feeling that I'm unprepared. Like I'm a fan now of the team. We're all fans of the team. I feel like we're unprepared at the moment. I feel like there's other teams that are prepared. And in particular, I'm talking about Canada, Mexico. We saw Panama. Like I just feel like we're unprepared going into this competition, and I hate that. I really do.
Chuck, where are you on the concern going into Trinidad? Let's leave it, or maybe Gold Cup Trinidad.
Yeah,
where are you?
No, I'm not concerned about going into Trinidad. I'm not, and it's not because it's of this performance, or it's more of my level of expectation is so low. I'm concerned about the Gold Cup as a whole because, to what Tony said, we need to win it. We need to win it. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if he plays no wingers and we just look clunky, and we need to win the Gold Cup. We need to. It's that simple. And right now, being in Hartford and being on the ground and seeing the fans and New England brought it. It was incredible.
Yeah, it looked
crowd.
awesome. It looked awesome.
It was. Every time they've played there, Tony, I don't know how many times you got a chance to play in that Hartford Stadium, but phenomenal. Everyone brings it. Everyone's out. The tailgating, it brings back the old days, the good old days. But what was so disappointing was the team didn't match that excitement. The team didn't match the expectations of them. Right? As this, it feels like the country, there's like this bubble. Everyone's ready to go. They want to pop the bubble, but we don't have that moment to just explode and play and get everybody excited. And so I'm watching, and we're only going backwards.
I'm glad you brought that up.
No. How do we get 9 changes and go backwards? We saw one guy in Diego Luna who came on as a substitute, who's been bringing it on ever since Pochettino gave him the opportunity. So it's no surprise. But everyone else is underwhelming, and it was a lackluster performance. Switzerland slapped the hell out of the U.S. in the first half, just owned them. Second half, they said, "All right, we're going to sit back and smoke a cigarette," and still made it easy because they said you can have the ball, but you're not going to do anything with it, and we'll attack when we want. So yeah, it's a very frustrating watch, and I'm concerned about the Gold Cup as a whole because I don't know if Pochettino knows his players. I don't know what formation he's going to play. I don't know if guys are even going to be playing where they should be playing, and that is all concerning to me.
To add to that, the momentum the team could get or had an opportunity. Nations League, you miss a good opportunity to kind of, everybody's paying attention. All right, the U.S. is playing, got some big games, and we beat or we lose to opponents that, let's say the casual fan. Let's bring the person that supports the U.S. every 4 years. Like we can't even beat Panama and Canada. Like the vibes are super down right now. We're becoming a meme in some capacity, and that's not a space we want to get into. Okay, cool. Then everybody kind of, all right, some time has passed. Great. We got these big games. Turkey, Switzerland, good opportunity to get the momentum going. And we lose both of those. And then not only that, we get absolutely pumped against Switzerland. Like there's nothing to hang your hat on. There's nothing. Now we go into Gold Cup and a huge opportunity. Yes, this doesn't become an exercise in just trust the process. To your point, to both of your points, we need to win this. Not only to set the tone for creating the winning mentality, the winning culture, as you spoke about, Tones, but we just need to really get some momentum going. And that's not going to, if we somehow crash out of the Gold Cup in a fashion that's not great, What other games do we have to build hype around our team? Like, we're going to be stumbling into the start of the World Cup going, I don't know about these guys. And then it's going to have to be a performance in the World Cup itself that's going to have to make everybody believe. And right now, that we've got nothing. And every time we step on the field, we're not generating that type of energy and magic and charisma around our team. It's crazy. Or Riz, as the kids would say. So we don't have any of that. And I wonder where we're going to generate that if we keep trying to trust the process. We're trying to figure out which players. At some point after the Gold Cup, you're just bringing in your best guys the rest of the way. And you're trying to create that identity as much as you possibly can in the limited time that you have, because the Gold Cup was our best opportunity over a 30-day span to make that happen. And now we're not going to have it as we try to figure out who's going to be 16 through 24 on our World Cup team, or 26 or whatever. I don't know. I'm a little frustrated and tired at this point. Final thoughts. Jacob's giving me a hard time for saying Riz. I'm a grown man. I also have two kids, and they say that stuff a lot. So I'm just echoing the vernacular that I hear here.
He's a substitute teacher. That's what he sounds like. Are you guys bringing the Riz today?
Hey guys, bringing the Riz. No cap. Okay, so Chuck, final thoughts. What do you got? I just gave mine. I just went on a rant, and I'm done. Final thoughts for you.
I got nothing.
He's got nothing. He's been so triggered.
Charlie, we're doing a talk show.
He's being rendered speechless. Chuck, you get paid by the word, from what I understand. You might want to pick it up a little bit.
Oh, all right. You don't want to get me going then.
Big Tones, final thoughts.
Yeah, just not good enough. Not good enough for this group. Didn't learn. Actually, I take that back. I learned a lot tonight. I
not
learned
the way
a lot.
that you wanted. Not in the way that you wanted.
And not in the direction that I want. They winning. Let's learn how to win first and worry about everything later. And that we're far from that right now. And what I don't want, my concern is that winning is contagious, losing is contagious as well. Right? I don't want to get into that sort of mentality. But this group's got some work to do.
We got to break the cycle. We got to break that cycle. 4 straight losses for the U.S. men's national team. Big game against Trinidad this Sunday in the Gold Cup. We're going to preview that game. So come back and join us on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific here live on the Glosso America YouTube channel. We'll get into that, and obviously we'll sift through our thoughts as some time has passed. And obviously we'll hear from Mauricio Pochettino himself. But yeah, could be a big Thursday for us. Should be a big Thursday for us. Lots to talk about, and we hope that you'll come back and join us. So thanks for hanging out with us for the watch along, for the recap show.
Appreciate it, guys.
Call it what you want for life. We'll see you next time. Later.
Tough watch.